Welcome to another live stream of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
I'm Conrad.
I'm Jeff. Oh, I'm Jeff. Sorry, cut in there. I'm Jeff. I didn't know which one it was going to go, but anyway,
we haven't done that for ages. Not since the old Zoom days. It's always in clockwise order. Whichever way. In my order of things, it was me, Dave, Conrad, Jeff. So that's how it looks.
Right. That's right. What are you doing, Jeff?
Brady Bunch, you know.
There's a story of a lovely lady. Anyway, welcome all to another crazy fucking show. I've kicked off well, haven't we? Tonight we're going to be going through our latest battle is to do with the King of the Riff concept album theme. It's going to be Nightwish Imaginaerum versus Queensryche Operation Mindcrime. That's going to be interesting. Jeff has come prepared for that one, folks. So get ready for that. Going to pick out album artists, or like the cover artists for our Big Four supergroup. We're going to discuss Azalea Banks' recent comments on the Australian music industry and a whole lot more, new tunes and all the other stuff as well. But yeah, there'll be reference tracks to everything we're talking about tonight in the description. I'll also share them in the comments as we go through live. But for those not tuning in live, or for those that missed it in the comments, you can always check it out in the description box. While you're there, look at our details and find your preferred social media platform to follow us on. So please do go and do that. We're on all of them, so have a look. And while you're doing that, check out our fantastic sponsors. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. There's a link to them as well in the description. So give them a like or a follow. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated if you'd be so kind. Like I was saying, there's a bit to get through, but as always, we will do the rounds. We've got some comments here first, though. So first off, Nicole is here saying, evening all, good to see you as always. Same with Andrew, good to see you as well. Evening, boys. Rowan giving us the horns, as he does every week. Good to see you again, buddy. Michael's joined us again. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you as well. Same with Darren. Hey, all. So there we go. Getting a few people coming in. We encourage comments, so give us your thoughts, say hi, all the usual stuff that everyone gets you to do. There we go. Here's a good one. Bell's gone. Well, hello, you four. Did I miss the memo about the top 10s reunion? Good point. Although it wasn't actually meant to be as a reunion, but we are missing you. So if you feel like jumping in, by all means,
just jump in. We'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So Bell, if you can, let us know, and we'll shoot you a link. But yeah, everything's good. Everyone's saying hello. We've got all the stuff there. So yeah, make sure you jump in, say hi to us, whatever platform you're watching on. And we'll start going through the motions. Just share your thoughts with everything we're talking about as we go through. But before we get stuck in all the usual goodness, Dave, how you going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm busy, tired, and on the way to being drunk, which is always good. But I look forward to Thursdays where I get to sit with you people and the people watching us, which is a great way to wind down the week. But it has been hectic. My daughter was on camp last week, and she came back Friday evening.
Yeah.
And we both got a big hug when she got in there and missed her like crazy. But yeah, she was filled with stories and she had a great time, which is the main thing.
Nice.
They went up to Canberra, so saw Parliament House and the Mint and some science museum, so a few other places, sports place. But she was under instructions if she ran into Philip Lowe, she should go like that. She didn't. So she didn't get to do that, fortunately. And then we had me and Julia's anniversary on Monday, 13 years. So we had cooked a nice dinner at home. Can't afford to go anywhere. We're broke. And then my son's birthday is coming up this Sunday. So preparations for that, a bunch of stuff. He's really hard to buy for, but he's turning 9 and he's either got it or he's too old for it. Yeah. Can't just buy a whole bunch of Switch games for him, which that's probably what he wants. He's very much a gamer. Apart from that, not much is happening. Music, movies, it's all good. How are you, Conrad? We'll go over the rounds.
I'm doing good. I'm good. I had a good time at Ripper. Was cool. That was yeah. I guess since you see me then, I went to Ripper and the Iron Maidens. So I had a couple of gigs last week, which were brilliant. Very good. Spent about 3 days up in Sydney, which I don't advise. avoid like the plague. It's a shithole. A soulless shithole of a place. But I had a good time at the gigs. And to all of those of you watching in Sydney, I'm sorry. Not sorry.
I was going to say, apologies to our Sydney audience.
Offending the Sydney audience, but no. It's just, other than that, no, I had just kind of preparing for my trip. That's about what I've been up to. Anyway, getting a bus back fucking what do you call them? Replacement bus services from Sydney to Wollongong. It's just a nightmare. It's just horrible.
Ouch. That would
So
be
yeah,
fun.
fuck you, Sydney.
Wow.
There's a Trump slogan for you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Sydney.
Yeah, get that on a shirt.
Stick his nose up.
Oh, you could, couldn't you? You really could. That'd be just a big.
And now for you, Jeff. I'll hand this over to Jeff. How was your week? Doing
My
your
week
opposite.
is like, thank you, Conrad. Appreciate that. I don't know which way it is. On my screen, you're over here. That's
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
doesn't matter. But yeah, no, my week was just pretty much the same old. I just work, and I'm on my weekend now. So I had Thursday and Friday off this week.
Nice.
But then I'll be working from Saturday straight through to Friday, so 7 days straight. Yay.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's just part of the job.
Mm.
So that's okay. I'm sort of, you have to get psyched up for that. Working 7 days, it's not mentally, it's taxing, because that's my job. I just sit in front of a keyboard and talk to people and fix their internet problems.
Yeah.
So that can get, pretty mentally taxing, but I enjoy it. So yeah. But that's pretty much it for me. I really haven't done much outside of that since last time you guys saw me. Although I will say, someone had mentioned in the comments, and I was very tempted. I looked it up. I was going to get Tim Curry, the whole outfit. I was going to do the wig. I was going to have, from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I looked at that, and I could have bought it, but it was in the U.S.
Wow.
And, it was quite expensive. It was like over $100, and then, get sent here, and it was going to take forever. So I was like, nah, all right. At some stage, though, I still got to do the bells. I could do the bells. I could go grab the box right now. We could do a box of bells and just unwrap them and stuff. That would be cool.
Yeah,
I could do it. We'll take a break maybe, and I'll do that. Yeah,
we can do
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So that's me. So Andrew, how have you been?
Good. 1 second here. Bell's gone. Okay. Why the hell not? Send me the link. I'll just go and refill my drink. I think I'm going to need it. So, Dave, can I get you to take care of that for me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you kindly. We're going to get another person in on this. It's going to be a wild night. No, everything's good for me. Now it's just sort of crunch time with the move coming up. So, making plans to get our youngest over to his place, and then he'll be sorted out, and at the same time working on that stuff, because Jody, who says hi to everyone, by the way, she's only got
Hey, Jody.
about 6 weeks worth of work left, and then it's sort of weeks to pack up here, and then we're out. So that timeline is sort of really, really shrinking quick. So that's all.
Yeah.
That's where it all is now. It's just sort of go. So just doing what I can with the TV and streaming side of things and working around it, and then just planning for that, just packing up everything. Got to pull this whole room down. I don't know how many sets I've done that to now. I've said it before. I'll say it again, I'm sure, but got to pull this one down and set up another one at the new house, and we'll go from there. And then there'll be. But the funny thing now is that it's that whole thing, because everyone knows, like family-wise, we're going and an end date and all that kind of stuff. And now they're all like, the ones that haven't seen us for a while, it's like, oh, we'll come over and see you before you go. And so now they're starting to come over, and it's like there's boxes of shit just fucking everywhere. So it's just like the worst time to host people is now the time that everyone wants to come. So I was like, okay, well, you can sit on a box. That's about all you can sit on at the moment. So enjoy. But no, everything honestly is good. Work's okay. Life is good. Everyone's happy, healthy, well, just, getting ready for the move now. Can't complain. Everything's going well. So it's just a matter of just going through it now and getting to the other side, which is about 12 odd weeks away to get through the other side of it all. But no, we are going well.
Fun and games.
Yep. And let's do it. Let's add Belle to the stream. How you going, Belle?
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
How you going?
Good. This
Right
is
on.
not how I saw my evening going, but
It is now.
all good.
So how have you been? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it has been a while. Been okay. Been a bit sick actually this week, and like last week, like a lot sick. I had time off, and I just haven't been able to throw it. I've got this thing, and I'm like coughing and wheezing like a back alley wino. So laughing sets me off. So just don't be funny.
I'll try my best.
Work. Yeah, you probably joined the wrong group of people to try not to be funny.
Yeah.
But we're just waiting for Dave to fall off his chair again. Is what we're waiting for.
It's going to be the most serious episode we've ever done. We're going to be professional and not tell any jokes.
Yeah, that's right. No jokes.
Okay, Dave.
Sounds great.
Nothing funny.
I give
Sad,
that all of
depressing.
30 seconds, Dave.
I can be sad and depressing. I'll just listen to Nirvana for a while.
Silence, guys.
Oh, here we go. All right, let's run through some more comments here from the audience out there. So Michael has gone Conrad, rollerball, good shirt. There we go. Some love for the uniform there. Terry's jumped in to say hi. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Same with Guy overseas. Good to see you on Twitch. Hello, Nips and Standing Rockers. Good to see you again, as always. He's also gone, will the bells finally chime? So, Jeff, might be time.
I'll go right now. I'll go and grab the fucking box. All right, you do that.
No
People
worries.
just think I don't have it. I have them. They're coming. Bells are coming. So we got Bell, and we're bringing bells. All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's the Bell special.
That's it. All about you, Bell. All right.
This is the film, not the band, not the Aussie stoner rock band. This is the film.
No, the film. Yeah, I thought it was the film. The film's awesome. Yeah.
Film, yeah.
I'll be back.
There was an Aussie stoner rock band.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
That had that. Yeah.
Jeff gone.
But I wasn't a fan.
Yes. Well, Jeff goes to wanders off that. Basher is saying good evening. Also good to see you as always. So hopefully you're keeping well. Michael says they will need a bell player at the Rebirth Cuckoo restaurant when it opens, Jeff. So that might be something for him to get a little extra going on. Bell, you're in trouble now because Vinny's here. So Vinny's going, howdy, lads. Looking forward to more tomfoolery, getting my drink on. And as I finish this sentence, PTSD is kicked in after Jeff's description of his evening wear. So go. And he says, we're going to
He comes back dressed as Frankenfurter. I'm fucking quitting.
Oh, that would be perfect, Dave. That would be absolutely perfect. But he's followed up with, we're going to be professional. Did I just log into the wrong stream? If we ever get to that point, you will have. Chris is here saying hi, all good to see you. And Josh is going, is Jeff an official THRS host now? I don't think we've actually called it that. We just sort of have him and he just sort of keeps turning up. So it's like he keeps wanting to be here. So I'm good. Darren's gone, watch out, Dave. He's getting the bells and the stockings. So Dave's in for
What is going on with the bells? I don't understand what's
Okay,
happening.
so-
Jeff has a bell collection.
Jeff has a bell 200 bells from his mother's collection, his mother's estate. So it's like in boxes, these bells that he's carried over from Canada, or got sent here by his brother, I believe it was. So we'll get Jeff to describe it all, but he's had these he's never actually unboxed them before. They've been sitting basically wrapped up for years now. And so he's just going to get these old bells he used to sit around the house in Canada for his parents. And there we go. We're going to see what happens out of this one. It keeps getting teased every week. We're going to get one of the bells out and do a little bit of an unboxing, and it never happens until today. So you've jumped in at the right time. On another note, hopefully you're feeling better soon, Belle. Just on a more serious note, that's never fun being unwell. So hopefully you.
Thank you. I may fade out early, but we'll see. We'll see how I go. I just need to drink more. I think that works.
Alcohol always makes it feel better. There we go. There's Jeff. He's got a box. That's a big fucking box. All right.
Yeah, I got 5 of these. Little bells.
5.
And there's more coming apparently from Canada. So,
Jeff, you can make your own bell tower.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man, somebody play For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh, that's actually a thing you can do. Guys, and Vinny says, odds on it's one of his bells is a Prince Albert. Well, that could be not safe for work territory.
That's not for safe for work. That's not going to happen. Plus,
we don't want to see that.
You guys don't have Zoom. You're fucked. Get it?
Oh, here we go. So Michael's gone. Start with something easy, Jeff. The score to rollerball, maybe. So.
Which was Paganini? Was that Paganini?
Ooh, I don't know. Actually,
it's a classical piece. The famous classical piece, though. I know that much.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to do a Google.
I will look that up.
Just for reference, my last Google search here is still open, and it's Dead Cat Bounce. Anyway, it's a financial term. All right. Okay. Here's why it was a competition joke they were having at home. So it was she she was playing Zelda and she's fallen from this stupid height and just gone splat. And I've just gone, I was waiting for the bounce, the dead cat bounce. And she's gone, what? And so I've looked it up to explain it to her. So in finance, a dead cat bounce is a small, brief recovery in the price of a declining stock, derived from the idea that even a dead cat will bounce if it falls from a great height. That is where it all comes from. So anything that falls from a great height will bounce in some way, shape, or form. Long story short. So, Dave, there you go. We're educating you. You're going to get bells. You're going to get educated on dead cat bounces. You're going to get all sorts of stuff here. So,
I remember when we used to talk music.
Yeah, those days are long gone. Yeah.
It's a variety show.
It's Bark.
Wheel.
I just looked it up. It's
wheels
Bark.
that spin for prizes and shit.
Oh, okay.
I just looked it up. It's Bark piece. Bark piece.
It's a coda in D minor. Okay, yeah.
It's a coda in D minor by Bark.
There we go.
This is rings and things.
Hang on, should I get that? It's Conrad. Jeff in solo mode here for this.
Jeff's solo video.
So
all right,
rings
Jeff.
and things. So this is obviously like a ring thing that a bell that holds rings and things.
Okay.
Yeah. Who knew, right? Who knew that actually is the thing? But apparently it is.
It looks like a butt plug.
Oh, wow. Well, you want to sit on that, Dave?
Only you would say that, Dave. Only you would say that.
That's okay.
Oh.
I got the knife and everything.
Okay, just don't damage them, Jeff. I know they're important. So.
No, they are. Yeah. Look, I don't want this show to be just all about me. So unzoom me.
Plugs.
Okay. There we go.
All right.
That Frankenfurter costume would have come in handy.
Yeah, Frankenfurter. Hey, look at this. This one's cool. This is a Christmas one.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never seen any of this shit.
No.
Wow.
But hey, it's a bell.
So Jeff, Bell was asking, what's the story with the bell? So do you want to explain to Bell what exactly this is all about?
Please,
so, it's kind of. So back in 2013, so my mom passed away, right? And so I went back to Canada, obviously for the funeral and stuff, which she didn't actually end up having because it was in her will. She didn't want one, but I was there, and so then when my dad passed away in 2018, my younger brother, had to clear out the house, and so there was all this furniture and stuff, and he was like, "Well, where's this stuff going to go?" So all the bells, my mom had collected bells for years and years and years. And he said, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to take them down to the op shop or something. I'm like, no, fuck no. Put them in a box, send them to me. Are you serious? I said, yes. So he did. He put them in 5 boxes, and apparently there's 3 or 4 more boxes that are forthcoming. And so rather than just have them go randomly out into the world and who knows, I thought, look, my mom collected these for years and years and years. She had like 200 or more. And they all meant something to her. She collected them, and I thought, no way. So here they are in Australia, and so I literally am the bellman, and I'm opening them up for the first time. These have never seen the light of day since I received these in 2018.
Did none of the other family members want them?
No.
Wow.
No.
There you go.
I think there was just a case. Like there was like the cabinets and stuff that they were in. Like there was one that was from the 1700s. Like this thing was amazing. Yeah, I got pictures of it. I can show you sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, that's the story.
Good story.
Yeah. So, and, it's one of those things. So, geez, I did not think. Well, I kind of did. In the back of my mind, this was mentioned last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. Said I'm sick and tired of people saying it's just bullshit. This is real.
Get your bells out. Get your bells out.
I'm just going to jump in for a second here because Dave went and fucked up the moment, obviously, because that's what we do here. So much being serious, Dave. So because when you've gone, when you said it, Paula, good to see you from Cun Squad. Hopefully you'll keep well out there. She's gone butt plug, lol, cracker. And then Darren's chimed in with next on THRS, Dave's butt plug collection. So, Dave?
Sorry to disappoint. That ain't going to happen.
It's like an angel. This is kind of cool. That was neat.
Sorry, Bill.
What's gonna be cool is just looking at like the newspapers and shit. That's all from
that's
Canada.
gonna be interesting.
I have to go. I don't want to throw them out. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to get a hell of a text message at work tomorrow from Julia.
Yes, you are. And I want a screenshot because that's going to be funny as fuck. Like
the butt plug screenshot, or just the message.
Oh, yeah, just the message. I don't need an actual camera shot. I just want the screenshot of the text. Like, just to be clear, Dave.
It'll be a mess.
Basher says this is progressing very nicely for a magical night, making bets who falls off their chair first.
Me.
Vinny's gone the hard bell show. We are, we are into uncharted territory. We have never done this before, ever.
Never,
this is
never, and never to be done again. No doubt.
No, probably not. You got 8 more boxes to go.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. Actually, can you guys see that? That was actually really beautiful.
Let me pull you up. Let me go to solo layout for this one.
All right.
That is a nice one. Actually. That's cool.
Pretty one.
Yeah.
It's like a glass.
It does. It looks like a goblet. That's right, and it's green. Although my lights and the color kind of ruin the color, but it's beautiful green.
Nice.
Pretty.
She kept the label on it. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Hey,
that's awesome.
What do you do? A bell collector's work is
in all seriousness. In all seriousness, this is a pretty special moment. You've not unboxed these. You haven't seen these, and I don't know.
No, I've not seen these since they were in the cabinet in my mom's house. You know,
so it's pretty special. And so I know it's odd, but just a big thank you for sharing this with us because it's not the sort of thing that we.
Well, I'm not going to do the whole box. I mean, that would be just silly, right? But I'll do a few.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's 4 more boxes where they came from, and then there's another 3 or 4 coming from Canada.
Wow.
So that I thought
you can do like your a bell of the week. That's what you can do.
Yeah,
a bell
a week. Yeah. All right. Oh, that. Oh, holy shit!
It's that one.
That one is like pearl, mother of pearl.
Okay, and let me solo again. There we go. Ooh, classic. It's got a real. What's the imprint on it?
It's like some dude. I don't fucking know.
If you say Frankenfurter, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
No, it's a man and woman.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see it in the light there, the resolution, but it looks like he's trying to serenade her or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's an old school image.
My shaky hand.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. All right, that's enough for the Jeff show, Bell show. We could do this all night, and I definitely don't want to do that. So that's not fair to you guys or the audience. Going, what the fuck?
It's turned into the Antiques Roadshow. Welcome to the Hard Rock Antiques Roadshow.
I know, right?
Hey, so look, I said I'd do it. I did it a little bit. Now no one can say I didn't do it.
Yeah, no, it's true. And the funniest thing is that it just sort of highlights that you never really know what the fuck's going to happen from one week to the next with us.
No,
really
absolutely. So,
if you should walk around in the middle of the night and just sneak up behind people and start ringing a bell just to scare the shit out of them.
And bring out your dad.
The bell guy.
Oh, wow. That would be fun. Tell me, oh man, you've got to do that one day. You got to get like either a GoPro or a selfie stick and just walk around going, bring out your dad.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right.
That'd be great. Get one of those old school outfits with the plague beat mask things going on. Like,
if I'm going to get the Tim Curry,
well, that too. You can do that.
Well, why not? Why not go a whole hog and get some 19th century? All right, get rid of this. Give me a minute.
There's some Canadian guy running around Australia dressed as Frankenfurter ringing bells. That's a YouTube channel right there.
Oh wow! And probably if we did actually get a video and release it, probably our highest viewed thing we ever do. Just the way it works in the world. What do we got here? Nicole chimed in. Bad pun. Didn't even think about that one. But yeah, Nicole said before, that's the same cough I have, Bell. It's bloody awful. So you're getting some sympathy there as well. and I don't doubt it. The guy's going for whom the bell tolls. But he's also saying finally he's stoked to see some of these bells. Basher has jumped in saying Jeff likes to play with his ding-a-ling.
Won't deny that one. All
right. Vinny says, imagine bumping into Jeff on the street and saying his face rings a bell.
Wow. But yeah, all right. Good job.
Vinny, you're hitting dad joke territory, mate. So with this one, Darren's on Quasimodo Jeff. So there we go.
Should I have a hump?
I don't know, man. Get an inflatable like whoopee cushion or something. That'll be fun.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Fantastic. Anyway, sorry guys. And now for something completely different. How about back to the show? Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to the show.
Unbox your inflatables, man. Fuck.
Oh, leave my Christmas inflatables out of some
show.
Halloween ones as well. Alrighty, let's actually get to the show. Well, we still got some people here wanting to tune in. Let's talk about some new music. Let's start off with Dave's choice of the week. In the comments, in the description box, there is a new single from a band called Black Rain, and the song is called Death Drive. Is that the one you chose, Dave?
That is the one I chose because I forgot to choose the Warbirds. Thankfully, you did.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, give us your thoughts. What made you pick this one?
Yeah, I've heard this band a few times, heard stuff before, but this song really stood out for some reason. I think they've definitely taken a step up with this. Dirty hard rock, lots of energy, bit of a sleaze thing. If you like Guns N' Roses, if you like Skid Row, you probably get something out of this. Great hook to the chorus. It's one that just bores into your head and eats your brain. Yeah, cool solo, cool riffs, just dirty old school hard rock. I thought it was pretty cool.
No, it is pretty cool. I think that I know why you like it is because there's a particular sort of Wednesday 13 vibe to it as well. It's got that that vocal bite, that vocal gravel to it. Great riff on it. I love the punch and energy in the song. It's got some good use of melody though as a counterpoint, which is another sort of throwback to what I know you like about that side of music, Dave. Yeah, the big hook in the chorus, which is cool, and that sort of hook would be really good sort of in the live environment. It's got to be a real catch cry kind of a feel to go off in the live set. There's also a nice little sort of spoken little bit in there too, which is a nice little throwback to the horror movie kind of touch thing there too. You know, some nice bite lyrically in this song as well, which is well done. And there is a cool little change up toward the end of this song. It's a very, very cool solo in there, but there's a little drum-led part after that, which is cool, especially with that like 3 hits of the cowbell. It was like it just stood out in just a really cool way toward the end of the song. It's not breaking new ground, but it's a really cool sort of energetic hard rock track that I think a lot of people watching us will actually quite enjoy. So if you like it a bit grittier, but still with melody and a big hook, it's going to probably impress you quite a bit. So yeah, did anyone else manage to check that one out?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a great song. Cool. I fucking loved that. Dave sent me this. I'm like, oh wow, okay, I'll put it on. And I'm just like, the groove was just, yeah. I loved it. It had a cool rhythm, a very, very catchy. It was just a catchy song. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really, really good. So yeah, Thank you very much. More new music for me to revel in.
Cool. There is always that. Back to the comments for a second. Man found me here saying, "G'day, all. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well out there too." Alrighty. Anyone else? Did Conrad or Bell know this song at all? Or
I didn't. Wasn't sent through the brief.
Right. That's all
Dave,
good.
Dave snubbed me on this one.
I'll do better in future, man. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, fuck.
It's pile on Dave session
I
tonight.
feel bad, but yeah, I will do better in future.
Cheers for that. No,
Bell's jumped in last
I
minute.
haven't. Not familiar with this.
That's all good.
How you missing
on.
It's great. It's great.
We'll move on to the next one. And this is the one that Dave mentioned before because, yeah, he had a, what did you call it, Dave? A senior moment and forgot to mention this
senior
one.
Moment.
So I picked,
yeah, pick a song for the week. Even though I knew this one was out. I knew this was out 2 weeks before it was out. I saw the video 2 weeks before it was out too.
You had all the inside word on this one.
I built this band's website. You think I'd fucking remember they had a new song out?
Apparently not, Dave.
No.
Dave's not here, man.
No, he's long gone.
But anyway, speaking of this one, in the comments, in the description, here is the track. It's Warbirds with their newest single, Collider. It's from their second album. Second album? No, first debut album, isn't it? It's still the debut album, isn't it, Dave? Yeah. Fucking hell.
Still to be released.
Second single from their album, Order from Chaos. My pick of the week this time around. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But I'll do the rounds before I get to this, and we'll change it up a bit. So, Jeff, I'm assuming you've listened to this one.
Oh yeah, another song Dave sent me. Thanks, Dave. Yeah. Sorry, Conrad.
Another song Dave neglected to send.
Well, you know,
thank you, Dave.
It's priorities. That's all.
I'm setting up a new chat.
I'm just make
me look stupid. Song, I get it.
Grabbed me by the bells and didn't let go. This was a great song, and I really, really enjoyed this song. It was just, in fact, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was that impressed with this song. I cranked it up and listened to it again. Not that the last song wasn't great as well. I really enjoyed them as well. There was something about this song just cut through the butter like a hot knife, and I loved it. Yep.
Nice.
Where are these guys from?
Melbourne.
Melbourne
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Melbourne 3-piece. They've been around for a while, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Belle, are you aware of them at all?
No.
Okay.
Send it through, Dave.
What's
I
the
will.
cat's name?
Okay.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Dave.
you got some pet action behind you there, Belle.
I'm gonna
Is
kick
that
it
your
out.
possum? Possum,
No.
possum or a cat?
The possum was in here to be probably tearing my face off.
It
Although
looks like a possum. Is it a cat or a
Does
possum?
a
What is
dead possum bounce?
it's a cat.
Okay, it's got like a pointed nose almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fat like a wombat, though.
I can relate to that. Short, fat, and don't fuck with me. Yeah,
Oh,
that's it. Yeah.
it's
Noted.
okay. At least you'll ruin cars if you hit one of them. All right, Dave, let's go to you. What do you make of Collider?
Oh, it's Warbirds. They never put a foot wrong. They're a fucking amazing band. I first saw them about 10 years ago now. It would have been about 2014 when the Hard Rock Show was doing gigs at Lucky 13. First met you in person and met Warbirds, met Anth and got their first EP, and I've seen them a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And a few years after that, I saw them at Cherry Bar, and they played this song, and it's just stuck with me ever since. It's just got one of those riffs that just instantly stick in your head. Just one of those fucking like how's nobody written this riff before? Just awesome. And like every Warbird song, the guitar playing is phenomenal. The solo's awesome. Great catchy chorus. Song's amazing, and it's awesome to hear live. This band can do no wrong. If you haven't heard Warbirds, check out their stuff. If you haven't seen them, go and see them. Yeah. Like Andrew said, they're a 3-piece, and they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, 3-piece bands are just something about a 3-piece band that's just amazing. I just have a thing for 3-piece bands. I always have, and these guys, wow, they bring the fucking the business. They're good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. No, like I was saying, it's the second single from Order from Chaos. There's an Eastern, almost heavy Zeppelin kind of a feel to this song, which is really cool. As always, Anth on the vocals just smokes it. These guys, again, for a 3-piece or not, doesn't matter. They just pack a big punch in their songs.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see this video with Danny, who's joined the band on bass. It's good to see a video with him on this one too. Look, if you're not tapping your toe along or something to this song, I think there's something bloody wrong with you. Like, to be honest, like if this doesn't just get your attention and make you want to just move with it, then it's really fucking good. I love the rhythm in particular on this song. There's some good tempo shifts in it as well. The note choices in the singing in particular are really well done. It's not an overly complicated song, but it's something really good. It stays with you, gets stuck in your head really well. But I love the lead work layering on this one. Not so much the solo, but there's this little guitar lick that just sort of fades in and out, just gets laid in nicely. It's a really nice touch, adds that sort of Eastern feel that I was talking about before. It's a subtle thing, but it really brings a little extra something to this song. It's got a nice little softer touch for a brief moment in there, not long, but after that, about 2/3 of the way through, the punch comes back in. It's sort of that little moment where you draw things back and then the wave crashes kind of thing. It's a really nice sort of moment in the song. And it goes off live too. Like Dave mentioned, this song is just fantastic live. I've been sitting with this album for a couple of years now. We had them on the show, did an interview with them about it all, and things were all lined up, good to go, and then things just seemed to fall apart, not for the band, but just for the deal they made and all that kind of stuff. It all just went to shit. And so I'm hoping and praying that they get this album out to the masses as soon as possible. It's just one example of a great song of what these guys are capable of. And for now, there's other stuff out there to go and check out. It's a bit hard to find on streaming services, but if you look around, you can find a lot of their stuff. So these guys, one of the best bands in Melbourne as far as I'm concerned. I've seen a lot, both live and in the studio. I think they're fantastic. So do yourself the proverbial favor. Check these guys out, please. And let us know what you think when you've done that.
You won't regret it.
No, you won't. Here we go. Lee, their album Untamed. Okay, back to Black Rain. Lee, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Has gone Black Rain's Untamed is one of my favorite releases of 2022. Nice. They did release one last year too, which is nice. Vinny says has a very distinctive voice, almost like another instrument.
Yeah.
But Lee says awesome track. Warbirds shirt for Collider launch at the total look great. Yes, they do look good.
Yeah, they do. Pull up.
Yeah. And Darren says, what is it about 3-piece bands they rock? I don't know. I think it's something to do, honestly. My personal thought is that there's nowhere to hide. As a three-piece, there is literally nowhere to hide, so you have to be on. You have to be good at your shit.
Yeah, because every three-piece band that really comes out, they're all like fucking like virtuosos of their instrument. It seems like, right? Because like you said, they got nowhere to hide. If you can't cut the mustard, you're fucking not in the band. Simple as that. Yep.
And so, there's not they pack a big punch, but there's not as much room to hide between a rhythm and a lead, that sound wall kind of a thing. So that's it's one of those things. I'd love to see someone actually break it down if there is a way to do that, but that's my gut feeling, is because there's nowhere to hide. That's what makes them all so bloody good. Jolie says, hi all on break, 20 minutes and watching. Good to see you again. Hopefully we entertain you throughout your break. While I'm speaking about Warbirds, I'm going to give another plug to the Warbirds Collider launch, which is in the comments now, in the description box. So make sure you check it out if you feel inclined. The machine that is Warbirds is kicking back into gear to launch their latest single, Collider. It's a rip-snorting banger. They'll be joined by hard-rocking hellions, The Revelation, and jumping in last minute to save the day are the Flash Bastard Experience, and will absolutely be an event. Make sure you get your tickets pre-sale. We will see you there. That is at the Tote on this Saturday, the 20th of May. It's going to be fantastic. Like we've said before, if you haven't seen these guys live, you will not find a better chance, because I don't care how big or small the stage is. They are just absolutely A-grade, top shelf. They are one of the best bands going around.
They sound it. They really
Tickets for this one are a bit over $17 a pop. So $17, you get 3 bands, and you get to see one of them. I know for a fact is absolutely fucking phenomenal. So, like I said, one of the best bands in Melbourne, and that's saying something if I do say so myself. So Saturday, May 20, so this coming weekend, at the Tote, Warbirds launching their new single Collider with the Revelation, and last minute edition, the Flash Bastard Experience. Don't know either of those two bands, but it'll be a cracking night regardless, I'm sure. So get on down, check it out, have some fun, go and see some live music. Check out the Tote while you're there, which will hopefully be in new ownership soon, fucking pricks. And then we can get that all sort of resolved. Alrighty. This is next up. We got the hot topic, which is something that I'm pretty sure anyone and everyone can jump into here. And we'll start with Dave in a second after I preface it. We'll do the rounds and I'll come back and close it out. So we'll go Dave to Conrad to Jeff to Bell, and then I'll sort of wrap things up as best I can. But it's an interesting one here, because whilst we don't talk about Azalea Banks on the Hard Rock Show very much, not really our wheelhouse, the question of the day is she right? Because she put out a big old rant about the Australian music industry. So the American rapper rips into Australian music industry kind of thing. So she's basically, where are the quotes here? She's called the Australian music and entertainment industry trash, called Australian artists untalented, uncultured, and unneeded. She's gone, realised musical talent is just not in the gene pool. Absolutely no one on earth takes the Australian music industry seriously. She made exceptions for Kylie Minogue, INXS, AC/DC, but called Tame Impala, Cheesy, and Wolfmother an American rock tribute band. But there are other bits and pieces to this one. But yeah, she's basically, this is, you got to take it with a grain of salt with Azalea, because she has had issues in the past where she had a dodgy promoter fuck her around in Australia. So she's just like, yeah, whatever. She's not a big fan of coming to Australia in general. But the question of the day is not so much, are we a bunch of uncultured louts? Because I don't think we're going to be post children for anything different. It's just a case of that. Does anyone care about the Australian music industry? And it doesn't matter so much about, you can look at this in a number of ways, be it overseas or also be it from in Australia itself, because our chat behind the scenes was an interesting one, wasn't it, Dave? There was a bit going on there with the valid points being raised about things. And then Ben Lee had a bit of a retort as well, saying, in a lot of respects, she's got some things to say that are valid too. But Dave, where do you sort of land on this? It's a bit of I probably haven't set it up well, but it's basically, how well is the Australian music industry actually supported in Australia and overseas? And, is it relevant to the world?
Oh, Australia could be doing better. We've been talking about that for about 10 years now. Our radio output is nowhere near what it should be. Commercial TV is nowhere what it should be. But, reading the article brought up some interesting things. And I tried to keep this short, but ended up having a big fucking pissed off rant. I'm sorry. But I have never heard of this woman before. And controversy is a great way to get your fucking name out there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. What I understand, she's pissed at an Australian record label, sweated out, because they called her music dance music instead of hip-hop.
Yeah.
I was curious, so I ventured. I heard one of her songs, Anna Wintour. It sounds more like dance music to me with some obligatory rapping in the middle. But I don't know. I don't listen to mainstream music, and maybe hip-hop has changed since the 80s and 90s. And her Instagram rant said hip-hop is more profitable music right now. EDM is fucking dead. If EDM's fucking dead, finally some good news. But she goes on to call the industry trash and others untalented, as you mentioned. This is all 6 months after she cancelled the show in 2022 because an event promoter failed to pay her. If that's the case, she's got every right to be pissed off at that individual. Don't generalize and condemn the whole fucking country. Fuck you. She's got a pissed off attitude towards Australians and claims that absolutely no one takes the Australian music seriously, except for Eurovision. Voyager finished at what, 6? Was Azalea Banks invited to play at Eurovision? I don't think so. The article does highlight the fact that there were no Australian artists in the top 20 of the ARIA charts.
Yeah.
And only 2 in the top 50. Both are by Kid LaRue or something. I've never heard of it. I don't fucking listen to chart music. And in 2022, 296 songs appeared in the weekly top 50. 22 of these were Australian. Only 5 Australian songs among the top 50 most streamed songs, and 4 on the 50 highest selling, which may be concerning. But I do question whether or not the ARIA charts are even valid these days. We all know plenty of bands and musicians can make a living off music and not chart. I mean, the fact that most of what does chart is artists that do have record company support that are just pushing the hell out of this crap. Yeah, there's no actual talent there. As I said, Australia could be doing a lot more to promote local talent. We have produced some worldwide class acts. Their time's coming to an end, sadly. As much as I hate to say it, AC/DC ain't touring that much anymore, if at all. They might play one show here and there, but there's a massive gap, and we could be elevating the next generation. But radio plays fuck all. To cover their Australian content, they play bands from 20, 30 years ago, which are cool, but I'd like to hear some new music getting a good push. You got music TV shows that have contests. They play covers of songs I've heard a million fucking times. But there are a lot of Australian bands playing festivals around the world. Warbirds are going overseas to England to play a festival over there. A lot of Australian bands doing more radio play overseas than they get right here. Now, I do a little reading up on Azalea Banks, and this is far from an isolated incident. This is a woman who was involved in an airline altercation with passengers and crew, and she called Israel racist and vowed never to return after posting xenophobic comments and mocking their culture. She made similar comments about Sweden, and her quote, "Would really love to see someone bomb the shit out of that place." She's made racist and homophobic comments about one of the guys from One Direction and some other actresses. I don't know these people. And her recent rants about Australia were done on Instagram because her Twitter account's been deactivated for this shit. Now, the thing with people with no talent
today, actually, with Elon Musk taking over Twitter, that's actually saying something.
If you get cancelled from fucking Twitter, holy shit. Yeah. But the thing about people with no talent is they'll blame everybody else for their failures and use controversy to elevate themselves. To be honest, growing up in the 80s and 90s, we were exposed to heaps of American culture, possibly too much. Gangster rap was everywhere. I did listen to Ice-T and NWA when I was 12. I got sick of that shit really quickly. But there were kids who were, this is the fucking greatest shit. So they were emulating and idolizing this crap. We don't need to become America 2.0. We're fucking Australia. We got our own things we can stand on. But no. Now, America might still have the stronghold on entertainment. For years, most great movies and music came from America. But with stuff like Netflix and Spotify, we're starting to see there's a lot more great stuff all over the world. The success of Squid Game is a great example of that. We don't need America to produce all film entertainment. And The Who from Mongolia, they made a name for themselves. Are they on the ARIA charts? I don't think so. They're doing a hell of a lot of gigs around the world. Mrs. Azalea, she walked off stage at a festival in Miami after saying she didn't want to be there. So I think she's really just difficult to work with. I don't think her opinion means shit. But, she's a controversial figure, and obviously she's had her knockers. And speaking of her knockers, in that song I heard was during a music video, and she does the typical cliches of enhancement and poking through the fucking top. I remember when musical talent was based on music, not on image, not on auto-tune, not on controversy. So her opinion doesn't mean shit.
No.
All right.
End of rant. I'm sorry.
All right, Conrad, you get the envious task of following that up.
Oh, Troy. Look, I remember reading a few months ago. She was out here touring, wasn't it? It was a bit of a disaster for her.
Yeah,
and she said some pretty horrible, ghastly things. But it's like a workman blaming his tools at the end of the day. She was cancelling for stupid, silly, pathetic, precious reasons, and it's just it looked bad. It looked worse on her than it did on Australia. It looked far worse on her. So the way I saw it was just sour grapes, It was just like, you're just a fucking idiot. Apparently she got tossed out of a party years ago by Russell Crowe as well.
Okay.
Well, no wonder she hates Australians.
Exactly. Well, he's a New Zealander, but anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say New Zealand's copping strays right now too. So.
Yeah, but apparently he threw her out of a party because she was carrying on like a fucking idiot. Just like, get her out of here, fuck her off.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, look, all I just see is a spoilt little brat, But as far as some of her comments regarding Australian music might have some relevancy, and I do think abroad, when I speak to other fellow rock metal fans abroad, there is some respect there for some of our Australian bands, definitely. When they come over, they see them.
Yeah.
You'll find that people will go and see them. And I've had people come up to me talking about, Australian bands over there. And I'm like, oh, that's great. That's amazing. So, I think in the rock metal scene, obviously we've got more respect perhaps, but certainly maybe not in the mainstream pop culture world. I mean, with the exception of stuff like Crowded House and stuff like that, which, a lot of people love. So, and In Excess and those kind of bands, sure, which are, very globally known. Yeah. But there hasn't been anything in recent years that has made that much of a cultural impact, I think, from Australia in the same way that Crowded House, or in the same way that this In Excess has done. I don't think there's been one of those in a long time. So who the next, will we have another one like that that's going to make a cultural impact on that level? I don't know. I'd like to hope so, because we've got the talent. I go out to gigs and I see the talents here.
Has there been an American band that's had the same cultural impact, though? I think we're just in a different climate for music in general. I don't think any band...
Yeah, but I do see the talent is here. I'm not saying the talent's not here. I just think that maybe we're not marketing it the right way here. We're not marketing it the right way to the other countries, perhaps. I don't know. But then you got a band like Voyager who's currently in the Eurovision thing, and then again, people are taking notice. So it's very difficult. I think it's too broad. What she has said is you can't, I think it's a bit silly what she said. It sounds more like bitter sour grapes than anything else. Yeah. But but there is some valid points. It's just that you have to be very specific about the reasons why. Yeah, and I think we don't have the answers.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah,
we just don't have the answers. Yeah, so that's my take on it.
Cool.
Over to you, Jeff.
All right. Well, look, I was made aware of this story. Thank you, Dave. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right.
I'm sorry, comment.
But Dave is in the firing line tonight. Here we go.
I'll do better.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. And, look, she doesn't live here. So she comes
some
here.
People speak out of theirs as well.
Yeah.
She comes here. Let them clear their throat.
She's not from here, and she's got an opinion about our lifestyle and our music and our industries and all that stuff, and how we're not relevant on the world stage. Before this song was posted to me, I never fucking heard of her. Now I'm not up with all the hip new fucking shit. I don't know. No. If I met her in the street, I'd trip over her. I'm sure I'd be looking at something. But, because in that video, she's making a statement, and it's not music, all right? I actually enjoyed the song. I thought, no, I'm not going to listen to this shit. I put it on, and I was actually enjoying the music up until the point when she got this megaphone, and then I'm like, no, I'm out. This is fucking shit. And I turned it off because it was just like she's got a megaphone halfway through the song, and she's trying to get people's attention, I guess. But it had the opposite effect on me. It was just like, no, sorry, you just lost me, love. But you got nice tits. But other than that, I was just like, no, I'm not interested. And look, artists that come here from another country, that's fine. Like I said, everyone is entitled to their opinion. But in my little world of view, my viewpoint is that her opinion holds so little amount of water as far as weight goes in the music industry that it seems like, as Dave has pointed out, that she's just one of these people that can't do it musically. So she's gonna open her mouth and criticize and get attention that way, and then maybe she'll sell albums that way. I don't know. I don't know people even sell albums anymore. Really, I mean, download fucking on Spotify or whatever. I don't know. I didn't look up and see how many views she has, how many listens she has. I could not give a flying fuck. But yeah, I mean, she can say what she wants, but it means absolutely fucking fuck all. And the rest of us who don't really give a shit about her opinion, I will say it again. Nice tits. That's it. Sorry, Bella,
just for the record, she's got just under 3.5 monthly listeners on Spotify currently. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Is that a good thing?
That's pretty good numbers. Yeah, it's reasonable.
Okay. Well, there you go. I see. Well, I don't know. this stuff. So I just listened to her.
I've never heard of her really, but until
again, not our world though.
No, it's not our scene exactly, right? But I know of I was gonna say I know of all these other artists that I don't know. Fuck all. I have no idea.
Exactly. I mean, I've heard of Beyonce. I've heard of.
Oh yes, there's a name.
I've heard of that. I've heard of Rihanna. I've heard of Beyonce.
Rihanna, there's another one. Yeah, I've heard her too.
There are people I've heard of, but she isn't in the same realms. You'd like to think she is, but she's not.
Well, this is it. She's compensating. She can't do it musically, so she's got to try to get some attention. And as Dave said, when you want to get people looking at you, say something shit about them because they will.
Yeah. Controversy sells.
Look, controversy creates cash. Yeah,
exactly. What's the population of Australia? 26 million, something like that.
28.
And 28 million. Okay, but she comes from a country that's got over 350 million people. So that the industries are not, you can't compare them.
Yeah, you can't compare.
Right? You can't compare them. I mean, it's just, they're both fruit, but it's apples and oranges. And they've got such a huge pool to pull from. And the fact that we've had bands like, In Excess and AC/DC and shit like that have been like literally number one band on the planet at a certain point in time. Will we do it again? I don't know. I kind of hope so. I'd like to think we can. As Conrad said, the talent is here. Absolutely.
Not a question of talent. Yeah,
it's not a question of talent. So it's got to be a question of something else. And maybe other bands out there need to start saying some shit about America to get attention on their shores. Because I think that might be
to America afterward. Just do not tour America afterward.
Well, say it about America, then tour Canada. Because
that works. Yes,
I can speak to that. That works. Anyway, that's all I got to say. So I guess over to you, Belle.
Okay. I didn't know anything about this at all. I've never heard of her. So the only information I have right now is, Andrew, what you said at the start and what you guys have just said. So I guess I don't like to speak on a topic unless I've heard all the facts as they're
fair enough
presented. And I'm sure you've presented them factually. But
I don't trust us that much.
Maybe. Let's assume you have.
Yeah.
Well, you know what a music video looks like.
I've just looked up. I just Googled some photos.
From me and Jeff's description.
Yeah.
I'm getting a picture.
I was pretty apt. Come on, I was spot on there. That's the first thing I noticed.
Can you send me that too? You've got stuff to send me, so bring it on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, look, she sounds like a drama queen, an attention seeker.
Yep.
next week it'll be some other country or artist, or someone else she'll be targeting, and will be forgotten about in her world. I think as Australians, we probably don't give a shit. I'm getting that just from you guys. But if anything, it's perhaps free advertising for the music industry here.
Maybe,
publicity is bad publicity, as they say. So perhaps we could ride on this somehow.
Depends where the article got circulated. If it's more of an Australian piece than an American piece, it'll have the adverse effect. If that makes sense, it'll go the other way. It'll circulate her, but not the Australian music. Whereas if it circulates in America, it'll bump Australian music and whatever. But I don't know where it's gone. I just saw an Australian news article, not an American news article. So yeah,
they'd probably be aware of it.
Let's hope it gets circulated over there, because she's American, right? So
yes,
she'll be in their news like for a minute. Until the next kind of
be like the TMZ kind of shit, just tabloid trash journalism,
Yes, well, I said a term a few weeks back. Now, disposable journalism. That's what it all is at the moment. So is there anything else you want to add there, Belle?
No.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, my take on this isn't so much about her commentary, because I think Dave summed up pretty well that she's known for trying to stir the pot and generate clicks. She's like the Pauline Hanson of the American rap world. So the anything for clickbait bullshit. So make
she's an attention whore.
Yes, and
there we go.
But the question I have more is that if there is any legitimacy to her points, and I think there is to a degree, like not so much internationally. I think internationally, Australian music is more respected. I think In Excess, AC/DC are highly regarded overseas. Kylie Minogue, another one. I think other things too, like Voyager at the moment doing great things in Eurovision, has put us, again, shows some of the regard we're held with musically overseas. I think in relevance, though, in terms of creating a culture that's sustainable music-wise within Australia, I think there's a lot of room to grow in that facet. I think that just to pay the devil their due, kind of a thing, if we had a media landscape in this country that did support and promote Australian artists more effectively, and at the detriment of international acts, even, we talk about other, like we have Jeff here who's from Canada, and the minimum quota in Canada for TV and radio is like 50-60%, some of that for Canadian music.
Yeah, it's similar, similar to Australia here. How if you got a radio station or something, you've got to promote some Canadian artists. Absolutely.
Yeah, but Australia is like that. Yeah, Australia is capped at, I think, 20% or less.
Even on community radio, I've done community radio shows. And it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's a low
Australian content. It's not a lot of Australian content you're required to play. You really are.
I did radio for 5 years here. I was a radio DJ, and we had to play it. So we had a list.
But it's not a lot of it. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's right. So I ended up playing this. No, that's right. I ended up playing a lot of stuff over and over again, similar stuff, because, it was simply a case of, sure, there's stuff out there, but, oftentimes I would get literally hundreds of CDs sent to me, right? And so I'd be going through this and taking them home and listening to it. And if I found something I liked, because most of them were Australian artists, but I got some, like I could not believe it. One day I got sent a CD from I Mother Earth, the Canadian band. I'm like, how the fuck did this come to me? But it did.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. But so obviously, there's some sort of impact, but you have to play Australia, at least at the time when I was there, Conrad. That's what we had to do. There was a certain percent.
Yeah, same with
you have to play
radio. When I did radio, there was a certain percentage of Australian content that you have to play.
But there is a minimum.
But it's not a lot. It's not.
No.
It's not a lot.
No, it's not.
It's a very low maximum, and that maximum is also capped courtesy of a US free trade agreement, which is where it all sort of comes to things being a bit more troublesome in that regard and trying to get it across. So I think if we could work our way out of that and promote things, that's why there's such a big push now in the digital world for things like, Netflix to host Australian content and that, because we haven't got the argument on the commercial networks, because those rights were signed away quite some time ago. So I just think personally that if we did have a culture here where we were celebrating Australian artists and it wasn't left to community television, community radio to push and fly the flag so much, if it was, more mainstream exposure, because Australia's media diversity is so not diverse. it's so homogenized and so centralized. To get into the weeds of a bit of this, the media landscape dictates what does and doesn't get played on all things, and we just don't see enough support for Australian music in general. I don't care what genre we're talking about either. I think even Triple J leaves a lot to be desired, and I think if anything, they're the ones that are more the culprit because they have taxpayer funded revenue. They don't have to worry about advertising revenue, so make of that what you will. But I just think that if we had that, then we'd have improvement to our chances of being able to do things like bring a band to the world that would maybe hit the cultural zeitgeist and go through things. I know some people reference King Gizzard at the moment, but Airborne is a great case in point. They play bugger all shows here in Australia, but they'll go and headline European festivals. So that gives you a kind of an example of the dichotomy that we're talking about. So I would just love to see. I think that to give the devil their due. I don't think it's about respecting.
And they don't have radio airplay. They don't have radio airplay. In other countries. In other countries, they're not getting radio airplay.
I was trying to think of what other
bands. They're on the Cobra Kai soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, like big Australian bands that have, or bands that are Australian bands that have made it on the world stage in the last, say, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. There's not a lot. Like the last one I can think of is like Jet.
Yeah, that'd be the most recent example. Yep.
Yeah, and they're huge. I mean,
sorry, Parkway Drive. Let's give Parkway Drive.
Okay, yeah, Parkway Drive, another good example. I forgot about them. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. Because that's more in my wheelhouse.
That's the most recent one, I would think. They're more recent than Jet because they're still they did Varkin, I think, just a a couple of years ago. They were
I was at Bloodstock in 2019, and they were headlining. Bloodstock in 2019. I didn't get it. I was like, I don't get it, but it wasn't my thing. But they were big.
Oh, they're big. I love them. I think they're great. No, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have thought. Forgotten them. But Jet came to mind. Because on the world stage, Jet was. They were getting radio.
But also, they were like Triple M radio darlings too. Were Jets? They got all that exposure as well. But
where are they now? They're gone.
Well, they called it a day. So that's a Jet.
So
Parkway Drive was still kicking goals.
I don't know why, but hey, they did.
Yeah, I just think that if we had more support, it'd have a stronger breeding ground for our cultural things. And even in today's context, there are some great Indigenous bands too, or Indigenous artists that in today's conversation, it'd be good to see some more light shone on that as well. We have, Southeast Desert Metal in our world as one example that we Dave and I in particular fucking love. I'd love to see them getting more radio support on Triple J, for example. I think they could do great things. They'll give a bit more push. So, just to I just think that we have no one to blame but ourselves in that context. If Australian artists aren't getting over in Australia, we have to reform our media profile in that regard. So I think that there's it's a conversation I've had numerous times over the years, but I just don't think it ever goes away. We'll keep doing what we can do, and the more people do it, the merrier. Everyone's got social media, so share some stuff around, all that sort of stuff. But that's just to give the devil a point, I would say, okay, fine. I don't really like or agree with what she said, but there is a facet of this that does have some relevance, in that if we don't celebrate our own culture, how is it expected to foster and grow? So that's what we should do more of here. Look after our own backyard and then let the rest take care of itself elsewhere.
She may highlight a very important point that we need to do that. And so for that, I guess we have to thank her. But, she's still an asshole. I don't care what she says.
And I think that about wraps it all up. So well put. Back to the gig plugs for a second. Lee's also jumped in to say before, it's a little while back now, he's gone, the Casanovas are also playing Saturday night at Shockkickers for free. That'll be a cool one too. The Casanovas are a great band. When it came back to the Azalea comment, Darren's just gone, who is this person? Well, I think I had a good idea there. Vinny's gone. I just feel we get drowned out by the rest of the world, namely Europe and the US, but it's not isolated to just Australia. Many other densely populated countries rarely have their mainstream artists break into international markets. Still waiting for the Mongolian throat music top 50 to be announced. Well, that'd be cool. The Who would be on top.
Who?
Yeah. Basher says, Aussie rock was very unique. Grew up on it in the 70s and 80s. Was a great era. The rapper Who Who cares? That's a good point there.
Yeah,
but Dave,
that's right.
when you went off, Chris goes, Dave for president. So there we go.
Yeah,
I do a better job than any of those fuckwits for the last 20 years.
you would.
You'd be more honest anyway. Vinny says it's also highly likely that Azalea has undiagnosed IBS.
I didn't even know her name. I thought her name was that fucking other thing. What's the name on that? Is that song? What's that song, Dave?
Oh, Wind Tour or something.
Wind Tour.
know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought that was her name. So I'm like, okay, well, fucking, I said to Dave, she changed her name to, don't tour, in Australia for your own safety in brackets, I didn't know. I guess that's the name of the song. I had no fucking clue.
I think
an
important thing to point out here is, had it been an Australian artist that came out and said this, it would have probably gone down a lot better with the Australian audience.
Yeah.
I think Trevor would have probably got on board and maybe been a bit more supportive of it. But when you go into another person's country and you start insulting them, when you start, you're not from here, and you go and insult them,
Aussie or Australia.
that's just going to piss people off and rub them up the wrong way.
I agree, but as a counterpoint, tall poppy syndrome. We have that rife here. So as soon as
it's terrible. It's shocking.
If they feel, they're like, if it's not delivered the right way, everyone will go, well, fuck you then, and it won't matter anyway. Like we're fucked here. Like
the counterpoint though is like, okay, if this is an unfortunate thing, because if an American artist who none of us have fucking in this room here heard of, really, none of us know her music, she comes out here, she gets headlines. Okay, if one of our musicians that went to America and said the same thing about their culture, I mean, it would fucking be World War III.
You get
That's right. It would be like, but then there'd be people like, who the fuck is this person? And like, you can't say anything about, America over there. Like I remember a few years back, probably 15 or 20 years now. You guys might not even remember this, or maybe didn't even make the radar, but there was a band over there that said something about George W. Bush, the Dixie Chicks. And then of course it's basically people were burning albums in the streets.
Boycott the Dixie Chicks. That was the end of their career.
Yeah, that's right. They never
ruined
really recovered. They made a movie about it afterwards and stuff, but they never really recovered. And you can't say shit about that, but and they're from there.
Yeah.
And then there was the incident with, Sid Vicious in Texas saying people back in England that wear cowboy hats are classed as fucking poofters. Shit kicked out of them. Ended up getting the shit kicked out of them. A bunch of rednecks kicked the fuck out of them.
They're
That's
weird.
awesome, though.
Weird.
I never understood the whole burning of records. You're burning your own property. What is the proof? You're an idiot.
I don't know.
It's for Dave, it's no different to Australian football supporters microwaving their memberships. It happens every year as well. So human beings are.
And this is why I don't like football.
Have a drink.
People microwave their membership.
So do I.
Yeah, they microwave. It was a big thing back in the day, Jeff, that for Richmond supporters in particular, they used to microwave their memberships whenever they'd finished ninth, which was just a quite bizarre happenstance at the end of the day.
Better things to microwave, like food for one.
Yeah, I know, but they would do it.
And then they join up the next year.
Exactly, they go back.
Yeah,
there's gluttons for punishment. It still happens too, which is quite. I think St Kilda are one of the most recent club. I think North Melbourne might be far away at the rate they're going at the moment, though. But apologies to North Melbourne supporters there, but bad week for you guys. But anyway, back to this one. Lee's gone, listen to Triple R and PBS for new Oz music. Azalea is a diva, a dime a dozen rapper from the US. If you look hard enough, you'll find good stuff, just not supported by commercial radio. King Gizzard have 1.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify, but little radio support. That's true as well. And they also put out a shitload of content. They put out a lot of albums. Jolie says, sorry, got to go. We'll catch you later. Ciao for now. Good to see you. Hopefully you enjoyed what you did see here tonight.
Thanks for joining.
Rowan says she is Australian. I didn't think Azalea Banks was Australian. This is an American rapper in the news thing here, so I'm not sure. Man Family, back in the day when it was on Eon FM, 3XY and Fox, which many bands can credit for some success. There are so many options now to listen to tunes, makes it hard to gain massive numbers of fans. I agree with that, but there is still some level of cut through when it comes to social media and stuff. Bells, that was too much to trust, Bell, when it came to us stating things factually. That was from Darren there. Darren says you're thinking of Iggy Azalea, Ron. That makes more sense. Yes, Iggy Azalea is Australian. Yeah, okay. That's and Rowan's reported saying, yeah, okay. I thought that was what they were talking about. Man Family again. Community Radio 3KND play heaps of local content. This is good. This is good, but unfortunately, we just need that mainstream reach, which is the unfortunate thing we're all lacking these days. Bash had jumped in to say there's definitely talent about, but not sure if the product now is going to be remembered in the future as those predominantly are in the 70s and 80s. But there is not much support for local or national talent. It's a classic rock from years and years ago. Hopefully things will change back to supporting Aussie rock. Here. Good words there. Yeah. Very well put. Michael says, Andrew, when you mentioned Triple M, I can't help but think of Jimmy and his great love for them. Mate, his T-shirt saying "fuck Triple M" at the end of your extravaganza is still one of the most iconic moments. I thought that was great. That was fantastic.
That was a good shirt. Yeah,
that was a great shirt.
I was at that show. Yeah.
Vinny's gone midstream review. I think we've been pretty professional so far. Oh, okay. Well, we'll wild things up for you shortly. There we go. There's the bell. And Michael's gone Dixie Chicks or the Chicks touring soon. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know if they're touring here, actually, as a serious side note. But anyway, I don't know. All right, let's have some fun now. Let's get on to the building a band thing. So Conrad and Bell haven't really been a part of proceedings here. So just for argument's sake, because last week we chose our producers. And this week we are choosing our album artists. So just for shits and giggles, Conrad, we got your feedback last week, but who would you choose if you could choose anyone before we get into our actual nominations here? Who would you choose to do the album art for your little supergroup?
Well, I don't really know. I can't really think of a lot. Well, it had to be one of the artists that did the Big Four, I presume. Right. Well, I guess I go with Hugh Syme.
Fucking bastard. Yeah.
No, well, he's not officially taking
he did all the Rush stuff too. He did.
Yeah. He's not actually taking.
He did a lot of good. He did a lot of bands actually. Yes. So Hugh Syme, I'd go with. Yes, he's good.
All right.
If that's how you pronounce it, but yes.
Hugh Syme.
Yep. I like his work actually.
Yeah.
He did some great stuff. Yeah.
He's done. He's done Queensryche. He's done Rush.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
He was huge for Rush.
Yeah. He did Whitesnake.
I think Rush actually was where he really got his start.
Yeah, and obviously the Megadeth records as well. He did.
So he'd be mine. And all that stuff. Awesome stuff. Yeah.
So before I've got one of his pieces right here.
Okay, cool, nice. We are going to get to our little thing because it is like that reverse snake order draft thing. Because I went last week, I'll go first. But then the order will switch up after that. Well, Conrad. Oh, here we go. It's a T-shirt, I believe.
See, that's one of his pieces.
Yeah, that's an iconic. So iconic.
Countdown was one of his pieces.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, Belle, have you been paying attention to this little thing at all, or have you missed it?
I've missed it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So, what we've been doing for that last 5 or so weeks, or 6 weeks even, actually, is that each week we've picked. We've built our own supergroup out of what's going on with the Big Four of thrash. So when it comes to Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. So we went through each week and picked a positional pick. So we'd pick a drummer, then a bass player. And once someone took one thing, no one else could pick it, kind of thing. So when it got to vocalists, it was interesting because everyone had taken Hetfield and Mustaine for guitar work and left ourselves a bugger all choice of vocalists at the end of it all. So there were some rules at play there. But basically, long story short, each week we went through and chose to build our own supergroup, and no one can be picked twice for anything. But we haven't included you, obviously, because you weren't here for it all. But just if you were building your own supergroup out of the Big Four, who would you have on drums, bass, rhythm, lead, vocals, and then who would you do producing and artwork if you can think of anything off the top of your head? Just what would come to mind for you in that regard?
So, sorry, throw a category. So drums.
Okay, let's go drums first.
Drums would be Charlie Benanti.
Nice.
Good pick.
Okay. Bass?
Bass would be Jason Newsted.
Nice. Cool. You're going with Dave's picks. Bang, bang so far.
Scary.
I know. All right. So rhythm guitar.
Hetfield.
There we go. 3 for 3.
Why?
Yeah, 3 for 3. Who do you put on lead guitar?
Lead. Well, I have to pick Mustaine. Don't know.
There we go. Okay, cool. There we go.
Cool.
And then vocals. Who do you put on vocals?
Vocals would be probably John Bush because
There we go.
my favorite
4 out of
Anthrax
5.
album, which
Wow.
is White Noise. Yeah.
GMTA.
Wow.
Wow.
Bell, you picked 4 of my picks. 4 out
Yeah.
of 5.
4 out of 5. That's
Who-
I had
who
Marty
just-
Friedman.
For Dave's
Marty
band.
Friedman to lead.
Yeah.
Marty Friedman, yeah.
Yep.
No, I had to pick Mustang.
Yep. So
I
do
can't
you,
deal with his drama.
So, then
If you could pick-
producer.
producer Bell. Who could you think of a producer?
I love the sound of Justice, so Rasmussen, is that how you say
Fleming
is he-
Rasmussen. Yeah.
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 Cool.
You don't like me, do you?
Yeah. Turn the bass off.
I like guitar. I like
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. And if you were picking someone to do artwork, even if you can't think of the person, what sort of album? What's the album cover you'd most go for? Then if you
Album
can't think of
cover
an
of the big four.
Yeah.
No, I don't know artists' names,
Yep.
but I love. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is Rust in Peace, but I'm thinking,
Yep.
I love that album. But I
That's
love,
Repka. That's Repka. Ed Repka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Euthanasia's album cover.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
you
it.
sign.
That's you
That's
sign.
you sign. Yep.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good pick.
Mm. All right.
And then there's
Cool.
Pusshead as well.
Yeah.
But
Pusshead
Pushead didn't actually do albums, did he? He just
No.
did the
did T-shirts and
shirts.
T-shirts and
yeah.
designs for the
shirts.
But
And he
it
did like
just-
single album.
Yeah,
cover.
singles
Yeah.
covers, yeah. So, but the caveats were the same as anything else. So you can pick whoever you want, so long as they were in some way, shape, or form related to working on a product from the band. That's how we got producers and that. So just to recap, on drums for Dave's band, drum was Charlie Benanti, bass was Jason Newsted, rhythm was James Hetfield, lead was Marty Friedman, vocals John Bush. For producer, Dave picked Eddie Kramer. Jeff has on drums Nick Menza, bass Cliff Burton, rhythm Dave Mustaine, lead Dan Spitz, vocals Jeff had Tom Araya, and then for producer he chose what we got here. Jeff had Bob Rock, and then for my band I had Dave Lombardo on drums, Robert Trujillo on bass, Scott Ian on rhythm, Glenn Drover on lead, Joey Belladonna on vocals, and I chose Andy Sneap as the producer. And so now we went back to the audience, and this is what the audience polled. So on an equal, there's only 3 categories. So, 50 points for the top, 40 points for the second, 30 points for the rest, and then there was no 4th and 5th line to choose from, so they would have gotten 20 and 10 points respectively. But for the bottom of the poll, so the 30-point bracket, we had Bob Ezrin, Bob Rock, Rob Caggiano, Kevin Shirley, Andy Wallace. Chris the Melko got a nod in this one too, which is really cool to see on Facebook, which is awesome. Max Norman and Rick Rubin. Then the second highest pick, so 40 points, went to Fleming Rasmussen. So there you go, Belle. That was one for you there. And then the top pick, actually, this time around was Andy Sneap, was the most popular choice, which I can't believe. So in the grand scheme of things, I got to add 50 points to my score. Jeff got to add 30 points to his score. And Dave completely whiffed because no one picked Eddie Kramer.
Among the Living sounds fucking great.
I agree, but no one picked it. So just to go back,
this is catch-up territory. Wow.
it is actually because Dave was in front by a fair margin. So Jeff gets to add 30 to his, which makes it 170 total for him. I get to add 50 to mine, which now puts me out in front at 240, while Dave still sits on 210. But it's now almost anyone's game kind of thing. Like it actually brings things back to the pack a bit more, which is not a bad way to do it. But Jeff, you floated the idea of whoever went last in the last round gets to go first in the next round. So I get to pick first because I chose last time. So I am going to piss you off. I almost went with Alex Ross, almost, because of the worship music and is it King of Kings, whatever it is, For All Kings. Sorry, For All Kings.
For All Kings,
so those 2 album covers along with a whole host of comic artwork. I almost went there, but I am going to take Hugh Sign for my one. Euthanasia was the one, but also Rush, Dream Theater, Whitesnake. There's so many more in there. His collection of work is absolutely phenomenal. Covers a great many genres as well. So I couldn't, once I start looking through the catalog of artwork from Hugh, I couldn't go past it. So
it's impossible. That's why when Conrad took him, I'm like, fuck you. Because that's who I wanted.
It's a tough one. So
good pick.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm quite happy with it. But to make things spicy, Jeff gets to go next. So what are you going to take?
All right, people. So I need everybody out there that's listening to vote for me, right? So this guy has done some amazing artwork. And so remember the name Brent Elliott White, because he's the guy who did the artwork for The Sick, the Dying, the Dead, and then didn't get paid for it. So that should remember.
He just got paid. He just got paid.
Settlement. A settlement. In-court settlement.
A settlement. Yeah, he didn't get paid when he should have. He got a settlement, right? So remember that. Brent Elliott White. They so I need your help, people. So that should stand out. People are gonna go, who?
Yeah, recency bias. You might tap into recency bias.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is news.
So it is news. It is possible. So I need everyone's help out there. So vote for them. Brent Elliott White.
All right. So Dave, you got the run to the little. Which one are you taking?
Now, we spoke about being professional, and I'm going to say I did absolutely no fucking research for this at all. I have no idea who any of these artists' names are. I should probably know better because I love artwork, but I've never actually bothered to check out who does what, apart from a classic rock magazine that once said that, the guy that did the Dream Theater cover did the Pink Floyd cover, and he's somebody of renown, astute, or I don't fucking know. But whoever did this is fucking brilliant. This is a show bag that I got from the Royal Melbourne Show. Fucking Metallica. So, master of fucking puppets. Whoever did that, and I've been Googling quickly, some guy named Don Bragagram. It sounds like Deathgasm to me, but Don Deathgasm, yeah. That's a fucking great movie.
Yeah.
Don
Hang on, Dave. Let me find it.
I can spell it for you.
Because Metallica are a bit of an interesting one because they always had a hand in there.
It says here James designed a crude sketch.
Yeah.
So I can't pick James, even though he came up with
I like Ed Repka. I think Ed Repka's Ed Repka did some great stuff.
Call myself a fucking fan. I got to go back and research who does all these artworks.
The funniest thing here, right?
Ed Repka did a lot of the metal bands.
Yeah. In the context of tonight's show, Dave was the one responsible for palming off all the information that I've set up for tonight. So Dave had all this. He didn't even look after himself. Like Dave
always forgot to tell us.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, that Dave was the one uttering the word professional in tonight's show.
Yes.
So
I ran to a corner.
Thanks for briefing your hosts, Dave. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to live this down. I will do better in future, I promise. I promise.
This is hilarious.
I'll hold you.
I'm loving this. Dave, now you know what it's like. It's like herding cats. It's not that easy.
Oh, man, being number 2 sucks.
Depends what game you're playing. Anyway.
Hey.
There we go.
So I'll shut up or I'll get myself in more trouble.
Yeah, you'll get some text messages for sure. All right, Darren jumped in before to say radio stations today are more interested in pushing themselves than any other music, which is very true as well.
Yeah.
Michael said the Chicks are playing Melbourne. Okay, cool. Good to know that. They're actually very talented outfits, so take what you want. Rowan says, I had Hugh Simon in my top 3. Nice. That's some nice work there. Rowan also said, I would like to work with Alex Ross, but I was impressed by the work of Brent Elliott White as well, and Hugh Simon would have to be a good pick as well. So there we go, getting some love there. Dave's purse from Guy there, but also Pusshead, yes, we're getting a lot of.
It's not a purse, it's a bag.
It's a bag.
It's too big for a purse, it's a fucking
bag. Dave, it's your man bag.
Hey,
there you go.
It came with very cool stuff. It had a t-shirt, it had a hat that Jade took to camp. I'm so proud of her. She went to camp with a Metallica cap. And her teacher's a metalhead. He was proud. And it's got socks. Metallica socks, man.
Nice.
Comfortable.
There's your artist.
One,
that's your artist, Jeff.
Let me whack you in solo mode there. Put it up again.
Who's got that signed?
That was your artist, Jeff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
who signed it? Scribbled all over the art.
Who signed it? Who signed it?
I'll tell the band not to scribble all over it in future.
Scribble all over the art.
So the whole band signed it, yeah? Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Nicely done. Okay, cool.
I got a signed photo from David Ellison. I don't want to touch it these days.
Oh my God, here we go.
I didn't actually go and see him. The guy who hosted the site I was writing reviews for, I did an interview with David Ellison. Really nice guy, great interview. But then he went to do the spoken word thing, and he got a thing signed for me as a thank you.
I saw that.
He was just never the same after that interview, was he, Dave?
He
just went
I'm
downhill.
glad it wasn't a face-to-face. It was on the phone. It wasn't a visual one either. So God knows what the hell he was doing.
On the phone may not be safe either. But anyway,
I did see that tour, that spoken word tour.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
He's a good guy to talk to. Got great stories.
Yeah.
He's interesting, and he's pretty measured with his interviews as well, which is actually kind of cool. Which is I've seen his take on the whole he's left and that, so he's tried to be pretty reasonable at things, which is actually refreshing in the world of it all at the moment.
I agree.
Guy said Saved by the Bell before. Also, very manly for your bag there. But Rowan, if you're paying attention, there's a Discord chat, I think, linked in the description. But Rowan put in the Discord chat there a link that shows all the top 4 album covers in the Discord. So there we go. Which is nice. The Big 4 album cover, sorry. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, there's a little link there in the Discord chat. We'd like to get some more people in Discord, but that's cool. All right. Now we get down to the hard part, which kind of brings us toward we're getting to the challenging part now. This is going to be really interesting to see where this one goes. Now, Belle, just quickly, are you familiar with the 2 albums, Nightwish, Imaginaerum, and Queensryche Operation Mindcrime? I assume yes.
I am very familiar with Mindcrime. It's in my top 5, I would say.
Yep.
Love it. I've only heard Imaginaerum once.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. So I just quickly, before I move on, Lee said Don also did Among the Living, State of Euphoria, Persistence of Time, and Dr. Feelgood album covers. So there you go. Don Brody, good pick there. So nicely done, Lee. Thank you for jumping in there. And also, what do we got here? Nightwish. Here we go again. Yes, again, here we go. We are going to be doing this one because the way this works now, just for reference here, every week we do an album battle, and this theme this time around for King of the Riff is going to be concept albums. It has been for a couple of weeks now. The reason why Nightwish have come up again so soon is because they are more or less a wild card entry, and so they have to sort of battle it out a bit sooner than the other ones. Next week will be 2 undone band albums we haven't done yet in this process, but then after that, it'll be the Beatles again, for example, just because we have to keep things moving in a relatively good order. Otherwise, things get too squeezed at the other end, so it's better to do it earlier and then sort of break it up a bit. It's just the way it works out easiest overall. So yes, Nightwish are in early because they basically became a wild card entrant, so that's why they have to sort of fight it out to see who they get there first. Guy's gone Anvil special. Not yet. Maybe one day. We haven't done one of those yet. But just for everyone's context here, it is today. The album battle is between Nightwish, Imaginaerum, and Queensryche Operation Mindcrime. It was funny because I put up the post across the socials, asking the people to choose which album they would go for. There are links to Storytime from Nightwish and the title track for Operation Mindcrime in the comments in the description box as well. If you're curious, haven't checked it out yet, you want a refresher, there's a couple of tracks to go and compare. And yes, because Operation Mindcrime is the number 1 seed, I was expecting to be a complete landslide, but there was actually a bit more support for Nightwish than I expected in the audience commentary, which is actually nicely done. So it was a bit more. It wasn't. I'm not going to say it was a fair fight, but it was not a complete wipeout, which was actually kind of refreshing from where I thought it would go, because the numbers between the two in the voting leading up to this point was actually quite stark. So there was a good bit of love there for Nightwish, which is well deserved. Now, though, it's not an audience popularity poll. It's about which ones we listen to and how we go through things. So, Belle, if you had to choose between one of these 2 albums, pretty sure I know which way you're going to go, but which way are you going to go?
I would definitely go Mindcrime, but that's only because I am really familiar with it. I like Nightwish. I'm only just learning, not learning, but I'm only just started listening to them this year, and I really love them. So
nice job.
I don't know. I think if I had more time with Imaginaerum, like a lot more time, because I really love Mindcrime.
Yeah,
I just love it so much. It's brilliant. So I don't know. I have to go with Mindcrime though.
Yeah. But just quickly, while we've got you on it, then, because you said before Mindcrime is one of your top 3 or top 5 albums of all time, what is it about that album that makes it so special to you?
It was probably the first album that I heard that was different to, the thrash, the big 4s and the glams that I'd been listening to. up until then. And I started, this is in Melbourne, I started going out with a drummer, and he was into Queensryche, and he was into King Diamond and sort of prog stuff. And so he introduced me to that kind of metal. And so I just remember being really surprised that there was more. It's probably not the right way to say it, but
it broadened your horizons.
Definitely broadened my horizons. Like, and I just really loved it. So, so it takes me back to that era. He was a dickhead, so it doesn't. I don't have fond memories in that way, but it just opened up this whole new genre and world of music. So, and it was that album that did it. So it's special in that way. Plus, it's just genius.
Yeah, fair points, and well done. And thank you for sharing that with us as well. Like, if you can ditch the dickhead, but the album can stay with you, and that's the good thing about music. It can carry you wherever you go. So
something good came out of it.
Yep. So there's always something to take away from these kind of experiences here. What do we got here? Oh, hang on. Sorry. Got some comments here. I'll get to the comments saying what they picked on this one as we get to the end of it. Sorry. So just bear with us in the comments. Just give us your thoughts, which one you're picking, all sort of stuff. But we are going to go through and do the rounds here. We're going to make Dave. Oh, do I make Dave wait? You know what? Let's go to Dave next. Actually, let's rip off the Band-Aid, Dave. I know this will be interesting. He's going to have a massive swig.
Nice job. Big one.
The liquid courage is kicking in now. Okay, Dave, off you go. Which one are you picking? Is it Nightwish or Queensryche?
I have Operation Mindcrime on vinyl.
Nice.
The greatest concept album of all time. A lot of people say, I sure as hell don't. It is a great album. It would not be in my top 5 concept albums. No way in hell.
Wow.
But this is a really, really tough battle because both Operation Mindcrime and Imaginaerum are fantastic concept albums. I know I'm probably fighting a losing battle, and I'm pretty sure I know how this is going to go, but I'm going to give it my fucking damnedest. Both of the albums were highlights for the band. Both contain dramatic stories, passionate vocals, passionate performances. The production of both and the stories behind these albums is impressive in itself. Imaginaerum has 80 tracks just for percussion. Operation Mindcrime is the first album produced with a digital mix. Mindcrime has been performed in its entirety. Operation Mindcrime multiple times. Imaginaerum has never been played as a complete piece. However, every song has been performed live in the individual piece. There's a lot of Operation Mindcrime songs don't stand up on their own to be performed on their own, even though they have been. It just doesn't work. To me, a good concept album has songs that work on their own without the support of the songs around them. Telling a story through music is not like giving someone a book and saying, read chapter 17 or go watch a movie from about 45 minutes on. Telling a story through music is the only way we can go, chuck on track 7, and you can enjoy it as it is, or listen to it as a whole, and you get a much better experience from that. It's a fucking great medium doing it. Which doesn't get, people shit on concept albums for a long time. They became cool again in the last 10 years or so, but for a whole long time. The time span of Imaginaerum covers decades. Operation Mindcrime covers maybe a couple of months at the most. There's a much bigger scope on Imaginaerum and a much bigger story to undertake, and the band pulled it off exceptionally well. And it covers just about every scope of the human emotion spectrum. You got elevated joy, crippling sadness, fear, kindness. Mindcrime starts off pretty bleak and stays in that one mood. It's pretty one-dimensional when you think about it. The spoken word towards the end of Imaginaerum, they're talking about a mother who visits her son in prison. I have pretty narrow-minded, stubborn views on crime and punishment. And we don't know what this character's crime is, but Nightwish made me feel sympathy for a character that I would probably hate. Once the story gets under your skin, it challenges you to be a better person and more aware of the world around you. There are different. There's not just black and white in the world. There's different shades of grey. So it's a fucking amazing story. Whereas Mindcrime, as it comes to a close, it's a dramatic story told well. I just get on with my life. Whereas Nightwish, just like, this has really affected me.
Okay.
Mindcrime's a much older album, so it's got that advantage. A lot of people grew up with it; they love it. I can understand that.
Fair point.
It rocked my world when I first heard it. I heard it years after it was originally released. Then I started to feel like, well, the first 2 songs I can skip them, and then there's some highlights here and there. It's not all up here. It peaks and troughs, to use Andrew's cliche. And I'm out of so I can't drink the old drinking game, but I'm out. I will get some after this. Now, I will say Mindcrime drags a bit. The first 5 songs are awesome. Once it starts, the 2 first tracks, I just skip them. Gets right to the point. And halfway through Sweet Sister Mary, my attention just goes until the solo, if you can call it, just string bending. And then Breaking the Silence and I Don't Believe in Love are fantastic songs. And then you got these 2 short songs. These 2 short songs just get to the fucking point. I know the album closer. You know, that's a fantastic album and a fantastic album closer and a brilliant vocal performance from Tate. But I think Imaginaerum has a much, much stronger closing with Song of Myself. It's more dramatic. It's got these fucking balls to it. And when you see the movie has, it's just something else completely. So for people who haven't seen the movie, you've got to jump on the YouTube and it's on there. I got the fucking high definition Blu-ray with the soundbar. Holy shit.
Me too.
That movie is fucking insane. I cannot say enough good things about it. But I don't think Operation Mindcrime ever had a movie made about it. But Imaginaerum did. And Imaginaerum was never performed live. And Nightwish had never performed with a symphony orchestra. Where's Epica have? What are you doing? Anyway. Oh, fuck, they missed the ball with that one. But I think that is past. Imaginarium sets the tone straight away. We're off on a grand adventure. You got the Finnish song opener. You can Google translate the lyrics and it really sets it. But Marco's voice over that kind of fantasy story time. And then it covers a whole lifespan. It's cinematic in scope, symphonic in epic and execution and emotion. We go through different moods, styles, and tempos with an overall feeling that at the end, knowing it's okay to let go of the darkness. There's a beauty to be found in the world, even if it can be in your dying moments. And Operation Mindcrime does not give me that type of feeling. I know people love it and will say that it's the best concept album of all time. And I can easily name 5 albums that are much, much better than that. It is seriously overrated, in my opinion. Imaginarium for the win. I don't care. People come at me. I can hate me all you want.
Dave,
that's it.
Do us all a favor. You've done something special again. Don't fall off your chair this time, okay? So, the last time around, you had this amazing review, and then you fell off your chair and fucked up the moment. So don't spoil the moment. All right.
That's what I do. I fuck up the moment. I get things really cool, and then
you have a knack for it. All right, Conrad, I saw you shaking your head in utter disbelief. Were there any valid points raised, or are you just going to wipe the floor? Where are you going with this?
I'm sorry. Yes, the blasphemy and sacrilege I've been listening to is just painful. Absolutely painful. I'm sorry. Look, Imaginarium's a great record. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. And Nightwish did a brilliant, stellar job on it. But I'm sorry. When Queensryche put this out, the bar was set so ridiculously high that I don't think many people have been able to touch it since. And it's ridiculously good. It came out in 88. It hasn't aged a single day since the day it came out. And despite what Dave said about it being you can't choose single tracks from it, I can take the Pepsi challenge on this and say, as a DJ in rock clubs in London, I used to play tracks from the record and it went down like a storm and people would go berserk. So, it does hold up in that respect.
Waiting for 22? People went nuts on Waiting for 22.
I'm not going to pull an interlude out.
No, that's not a song, Dave. It's sort of like
a 30-second interlude.
It's a track. It's a track, but it's not a song. It's not a song.
It counts.
It's an intro to another song.
Every fucking song.
Oh, God, here we go.
Sorry,
but that's a creative choice, right? That's the way they did it.
And I think it's impossible for many acts to come close to it. It's brilliant. The story's fantastic. It's stunning. It's very, very clever. From beginning to end, it hasn't aged a day. I remember when this came out, I was 14 when it came out. I didn't quite get it when I was that age. I listened to it years later, and it really just grabbed me, and I haven't stopped listening to it ever since. Well, still one of my favorite records. I will go as far as to say not only is it one of the best concept albums of all time, it's one of the best heavy metal records of all time. It would be in my top 5 to 10.
There we go.
Easily.
Fighting words.
Nice job.
I have the box set,
Yep.
which is box set. Comes with a little book. You get a book with it. You get a
Wow.
cool
Is that
book
the
with it.
VHS version? Because I
And
had
this
that.
is the
Oh, wow.
for those of you viewers.
Yes, yes.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
There's a CD and a VHS there.
Wow.
I'd be more impressed if it was
That's
Betamax.
cool. That is cool.
Uh,
But do you have a
Betamax,
VHS player to actually watch it with now?
I don't have a player anymore.
No,
I
that's the
do.
thing, isn't it?
I used to have I used
still
to have a
do.
Betamax years ago.
Wow.
Used to have a
Fuck.
Beta- I also have number 2, not quite as good as number 1, but
No,
number 2 is
yeah.
still good.
Oh, it's a shit album.
And
Yeah.
I have a set list from
Set
the show
list.
that they played in Melbourne.
Wow.
That was the Mindcrime.
2006
They
at
did
the
like-
Palace.
Yeah, that was the set list from that show.
Wow.
Yeah, I was there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I went to see that in Sydney on that
Yeah.
tour.
Wow.
yeah, I've
Right.
seen them. I've seen them a few times, quite a few times now. And one time I saw them, it was unannounced that they were going to do that. And it was just called the Art of Live Tour, and it came
Okay.
through the UK. They weren't touring on a record;
Yeah.
they were just touring, and without any idea at all of what was about to happen, they did the whole thing from
Wow.
start to finish, all the way
That's
through. And the audience had no idea that that was going to happen. It was fucking unbelievable. It was amazing.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Pamela Moore, props to Pamela Moore. She's incredible. She's
Yes.
amazing,
Great pipes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
phenomenal. And still to this day, she's great. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Dave, but you're going up against a landmark record that
So
that's
who
No,
very
I'm-
culturally significant.
I've-
Sorry.
I've come to accept that Nightwish is not getting through. I pretty much know how this is working, but that's kind of cool because then Nightwish won't have to go up against Sins of a Memory and the Crimson Idol.
Yeah.
So that would be
Yeah.
fucking heartbreaking.
All right. What were you
So
about
you're
to say,
saying-
Jeff?
I was asking, you haven't actually said, Nightwish is losing against on you? You're not picking it.
No, sorry, it's not in
Oh.
the same ballpark.
Okay. Making it official. That's why. That's all I was
Okay.
doing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
good,
that's good.
But it's not
We
the same
gotta-
ballpark.
We're going to
It
be
doesn't have the same
professional
cultural
and cross the
it doesn't have
T's
the
and
same
dot the I's.
cultural significance.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the same cultural significance
Fair enough.
and it won't be viewed in the same way that Mindcrime is still viewed. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
It's a shame.
yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
when you cross paths with Nightwish obsessives, holy shit.
Okay. We have
There
one.
it
That's
mate.
what we need. We need a fucking showdown between the Nightwish gang and the Queensryche gang. It'll be a fucking ball through the wall. Oh,
What we,
man.
what we need is the old MTV Celebrity Deathmatch.
right.
Yeah. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes, so Mindcrime's going through for me.
Okay.
I reckon the Net Olsen could kick Jeff Tate's ass.
God, here we go. Then we got
Doesn't even
one
have
and
hair.
one.
She certainly could in the looks department. She's just
Oh,
a pretty
well.
lady.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
over to you,
I
Jeff.
want to check out Jeff Tate's Dark Element. Fucking hell.
No. We
oh,
go
is
from
it-
one Jeff to another one now because it's one for
Yes.
one, and Jeff prepared 3 pages apparently.
I
for this
did.
one.
Sorry,
So-
guys.
pages on this.
Okay, I have
you
to
go.
preface this. So, Operation
Now I know
Mindcrime,
how it feels.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dave.
Operation Mindcrime came out in 1988, so that's 35 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And Nightwish, Imaginaerum came out in 2011, which is only
Yep.
12 years ago.
Yep.
And both are phenomenal albums. And I'm just going to preface this by saying up front that I've often said, and I've said this many, many times to just about anyone who asks, and that Operation Mindcrime is my desert island album.
Mm.
So if I could only take one album with me to an island, I guess I live on an island now. It's kind of fucked up.
Oh, yes.
I never
It's a
thought of
big
that
one,
until
though.
just
It's a
now.
big
It's
one.
a big fucking island. All right.
You're trapped
so
on an
I'm-
island with Azalea Banks. What
Yeah.
do you do?
Operation, and assuming I could, rig up something like Gilligan's Island and play an album like on with coconuts on a fucking bike or something. I don't know. That's what I would do.
Because Belle's here with us, and she's on the island of the island.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
I'm on the island. You guys
Yeah.
are not on. It's
Well, we're on the
it's
mainland.
like a big island down here.
It's a big island.
It's pretty big.
It's a very big island. Let's put it that way. I never actually thought about that until just now. But All right, so I have to read this because I spent a lot of time writing this out, and I do apologize up front, but it's scripted.
Go for it.
Here we go. All right, so this week's head-to-head battle is without a doubt pure torture for me. Okay, much more than last week because this week the albums are much more relatable, and I dare say more evenly matched. Now, I can't fully articulate how both albums have touched me musically, artistically, thematically, and lyrically. Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime is a powerhouse work telling a harrowing story of a young man disillusioned with the world who falls prey to an evil organization intent on changing the world one assassination at a time. Nicky, the main character in the story, he fully gets entrenched into this organization by the charismatic Dr. X, the man with the cure. And now he's ready, willing, and able to do his evil bidding. The story goes on, told song by song, and I won't spoil it for anyone out there who's listening who hasn't heard it, because that wouldn't be fair. But I don't use the word masterpiece very often. But and I don't use it lightly, but I'm going to say it here. Operation Mindcrime is a masterpiece. So, and I also would say, in fact, if you haven't heard it, I suggest you do so, but do so with the lyrics in front of you. Get the lyrics printed, whether it's on a screen or something, and follow along lyric by lyric, word by word. And it absolutely will open it up. It's more than just passive music. It's a story that demands your attention. Now, I did this for a friend many years ago. I actually wrote out the lyrics.
Wow.
That's how bad I wanted to do it, because this was before the internet. I actually wrote the lyrics from the inner liner notes on my computer and printed them out for him and gave them to him and said, we're going to listen to this song by song. And he did so, and he followed along with the lyrics, I think because he couldn't believe I actually had done it. So he had basically felt guilty. But immediately after that experience, he wanted to listen to it again.
That's cool.
And he wanted to hear the brilliance and the atmospheric wonder that the musicscape had to offer. And to this day, he still considers this album one of his all-time favorites. Now, for me, as I said, there's a reason why I consider this album my Desert Island album. But anyone out there who hasn't heard it, if there is such a person, I really don't want to spoil it by revealing more. Just know that if you're hearing this for the first time and experiencing this musical treat, know that you have my admiration. Go listen and thank me later. Now, I was lucky enough, obviously, to see Queensryche in 2006 when they came out to Australia and they performed, Operation Mindcrime 1 and 2 in order. And it was very cool. And but I'll just go to and say, kind of like the sequel to any really, really great film, very rarely does number 2 ever hold up to the original. And in this case, that is the case here. I don't think Operation Mindcrime 2 should have been made. I think it was purely made on the back of the fact that the first one was, it made a lot of money for the band. It got a lot of attention, and that sort of thing. But I think that the story didn't need to be told, and that's how I feel. But
it was nice to get Dio involved, though. So we'll take that.
Look, it's still a decent album. Yeah, it's got Dio on there exactly, and stuff like that. So there's that. Now, just getting off onto the Imaginaerum thing, where that movie was made, which is brilliant. If you haven't seen that, you need to see it. That was actually made with the band, right? So the band actually participated in that, and that was from the bands. They wanted to put that and have it made. Whereas Operation Mindcrime has actually been optioned by Hollywood a number of times. And there's been stories that at some point it will get made.
It will get made.
It will get made by a big Hollywood studio.
I know that Tate doesn't want to hand it over till the right director approaches him. He said it's got to be the right director. And then it'll
that's
get
right.
handled. And
I don't know
people that have approached him in the past haven't been the right director. You need somebody. To do it right, do it justice.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's enough story for a movie.
You don't.
I do. Comfortably, Dave.
I think
Comfortably.
look,
any screenwriter, good screenwriter can make a movie.
Yeah, you
There'll be
can watch that
people- There'll be people salivating over that script. Come on.
No.
Over that story.
It like I said, it's one continuous feel, one continuous emotion. It's bleak from start to finish. It does have highs or lows. It's pretty bland.
I don't know
one
if I agree
dimension.
with that. I certainly know
One
where you're coming from.
dimension.
No, I would disagree, Dave. But yeah.
I think you're outnumbered on this one, Dave.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's cool.
You do get the moment of hope. You do get the moment of hope. I'm not going to have any spoilers, but you do get that moment of hope. It does uplift things. Yeah.
So absolutely,
I said this last week. All these bloody concept albums are all really grim.
No, they
They
are.
are, and I think with that sort of set,
They're all really grim
it sells,
stories.
and it's something that it touches a lot of people. You know, like no one wants to listen to an album about sunshines and rainbows because that's not real life.
Exactly.
We want drama and we want conflict and that sort of thing.
We
And
want blood and violence.
Yeah,
Tragedy.
Well, that's and tragedy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in with Nightwish, Imaginaerum, which came out in 2011, you know, it's brilliant. And it's got it's unfortunately it's the last album with the brilliant Annette Olsen at the helm, which is a shame because this is a collaboration in the studio, which I think the shoes that she had to fill were pretty big shoes. She did an amazing job filling in for Tarja.
I wish they'd done more with her, to be honest. I thought she was great.
So do I. Now, she's just an amazing singer, and it's a shame that they didn't. And we'll never know maybe the true reason. That's her story is that she announced the band she was pregnant. Their story, they say no, that wasn't the reason. They said it was like a musical difference, and she just didn't fit in. Who knows? Maybe we'll never know.
No.
But the bottom line is she's not in the band anymore. And this actually got me thinking, you got Tarja obviously there for 9 years. You got Annette there for 5, and you got fucking Flora who's been there for 10. So she's actually the longest serving singer.
Yeah. She's amazing. Fucking amazing. She's like the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
She's incredible.
She's the only one I've seen live too.
I'm actually at that Wembley show, the one they released.
Oh wow.
I'm actually was at that gig. Yeah.
Nice.
It's killer.
Cool.
I tell you, man, I don't know how the fuck you do it, but you do some amazing fucking shows. I wish I was in your shoes for a day. So Imaginaerum is arguably a magnum opus to this amazing band. And even if you don't consider it their best, it is without a doubt their most ambitious. This album is more about a journey rather than a destination. It's a musical scape that few bands would have been able to pull off. But here, and this is just par for the course with Nightwish, they possess a rare musical talent that is missing in many bands of today. Knowing what to write is equally as important as what not to write. And here, Nightwish shows a deft hand creating a piece of work that stands head and shoulders above their contemporaries. Music is a magical device, and using it to tell amazing stories is a gift. And that is not what Nightwish has done here. It's a shame, then, that there has to be an album that gets left behind here tonight, as both these albums deserve to move on, without a doubt. Now, to this day, I cannot listen to The Crow, The Owl, and The Dove without getting choked up. It just does that to me. It's that powerful. So go listen to it. It's an amazing album. Find out for yourself and experience what an amazing journey this music will take you on. And then, of course, there is the heartbreaking song of Myself, which is just, I don't have words. So let me preface my final assessment by saying it's extremely difficult to choose between these two amazing albums from these amazing bands. One is a story of corruption, power, pain, love, and love lost. The other is an amazing tapestry of a story of an old dying composer reminiscing about his storied life on his deathbed, told through the songs. It's emotionally devastating and incredibly powerful. It is impossible not to be moved by this incredible work. I think of how the music is for me. Music in my life is a central piece of my life. And somehow with Imaginaerum, I can imagine that this is me on my deathbed, trying to tell a story of my life, which is sad, a summation of everything all at once, a life story told through song. And then we've got the story of Nicky, in Queensryche Operation Mindcrime, and how he falls into a viper pit of corruption. It's just a great story, and I love it. But it's just that. It's a story. I can't relate to it personally. And I will never be Nicky, but I could be that composer. And so I have to be truthful here and award my judgment to the album which I can relate to the most. And my vote, therefore, has to go to Imaginaerum. What an amazing, powerful journey told through 13 wonderful songs.
Cool.
So I got goosebumps.
Wow. I never expected that.
Massive respect.
I still stand by my position. Operation Mindcrime is still my desert album. If I could only choose one, but I think for a story that touches me on a personal level, it's hard to look at Nicky and say that's me, or I could ever be in that situation.
Right.
I don't think I'll ever will be.
That. Yeah, I couldn't see myself in those shoes either.
No, and I think that doesn't take away from its power and its story. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the story of an old aging composer dying and telling a story of his life through songs.
Yeah.
I would love to say, when it's my time, that would be me. So I can relate. So I have to say it. I gave it to Nightwish. I know you didn't expect that one, Dave.
Nope. No, I did not. But I totally get it, because the movie heightens that to a completely other level. And like I mentioned it last time we did this, the first time I saw that movie, I had to go and just watch my daughter sleep, because they brought the whole father-daughter relationship into the movie and heightened this to this other place. And anyone who's had like a colorful upbringing, you worry about transferring that darkness to your next generation. And when you get this music and this movie that says it's okay to let it go, it forces you to be a better person. So I completely understand how it's affected you to.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not a parent. I don't have any children, but album. They both are such an amazing pieces of work, and to really highlight what Conrad said, it's just Operation Mindcrime is just a powerhouse. It absolutely is just an amazing thing, and it probably will live on, unfortunately, in the halls of musicdom, if you want to call it that. Just make up a word. I don't know. But it works. It works, and it will probably live on. It will probably be one of those things that is told in 50 years from now.
It might be like a theater show.
And that's not to take anything away from Imaginaerum. Imaginaerum is just an absolutely powerful, epic song, epic band, everything, the collection of songs.
See, just to jump in, the way we were talking before we went live about theater shows and Cirque du Soleil and things like that. In this context, just in my head now, you could imagine Mindcrime being a stage play, a theater play. But you can imagine Imaginaerum being done by Cirque du Soleil. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Absolutely could.
I get that.
And it deserves something like that, because this album is just too good to be left and forgotten. It's that good. So, look,
it's
I love Queensryche.
Mindcrime being like the music storytellers go-to in 50 years, whereas Imaginaerum would be kind of like a scholar musicianship type thing where people go and study the craft. Bit like Dream Theater, Nightwish and Dream Theater.
I would argue that Mindcrime would be taught in literature, Imaginaerum would be taught in philosophy.
Yeah.
You could go there.
I can see that.
The Mindcrime story is a very it's linear, right? And we know the story, and it's very like we're familiar with it because it happens on TV every time we turn the TV on. We're hearing a story, so it's a very familiar story. Whereas Imaginaerum, I can't think of another story. I can think of people reminiscing about their life, but not an old composer about, and telling the story through songs. I don't know if that's been done quite like that before. Whereas Mindcrime, it's great, but that story has been told many times by many authors. So the fact that we got it from a band, yeah, that's fantastic. And like I said, I love it. I absolutely love it. I probably listen to that album at least 10 times a year, and it's because it's been one of my favorites. It's not like I'm listening to it every single day.
Yeah.
I put it on maybe once a month, because it's that powerful to me, and I love it. And then I just get on with whatever. What's that?
That's still a lot. Once a month for a 1988 album.
35 years.
A month, like every month.
Absolutely. It's a quick story just before I go off.
Yeah,
go
sorry.
Go ahead, Connor. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it still stands up like, it came out in '88 and it still sounds really fucking strong.
It absolutely does. It does.
And even some of the story, like the lines, some of the vocal lines in it, the rich control the government, the media, the law.
The law.
I mean, that's as relevant today.
It's just so relevant. Yeah, exactly.
Just as relevant today as it was when it was written. So
if there happens to be anybody else out there that has not heard this album, if that's the case, please, both albums really. But you're going to need to listen to both.
I think it's a must-have for any metalhead. Really, it's a must-have.
Yeah.
You must have that record. Really.
A buddy of mine went and saw Metallica in ~89. Okay, wow. And
I saw that tour.
Yeah, so that was Injustice, and Queensryche was opening for Metallica, and I couldn't go because I broke my leg.
Monsters of Rock tour. Monsters of Rock, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but this particular thing was in another city. I had broken my leg, and so I couldn't. I have the worst luck when it comes to tickets to concerts. It happens, yeah. So I couldn't go, so I had to give the ticket away, and because I wanted to go, and he said. Afterwards, I'm like, hey, how'd it go? What was, and I talking to him, he said, look, Queensryche was amazing. They came out and they played, and they were getting booed by the Metallica audience. They were getting booed, and the guys from Metallica came out and they stopped Queensryche in the middle of a song and said, if you keep treating this band like this, we're not playing tonight.
Wow.
And then they walked off. And the crowd just fucking, after that, the people were talking like they gave Queensryche their due. So I never forgot that. That's fucking amazing for a band to do.
Powerful. Yeah.
So, and they deserved it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I remember I had like a Guns N' Roses book when I was young with like quotes from different band members, and they were asked what bands you listen to at the moment. Axl said he was a big fan of the new Queensryche album, which was Mindcrime at the time.
Wow.
So even they might not be as big as some of the other bands, but the other bands that are big do.
It's
Queensryche.
If you're not a fan of Queensryche, they're your favorite band's favorite band, kind of thing. That's
correct.
Yeah.
Greenfield the tour with them.
Yeah. Like
it's just a shame that
they did a dual headlining tour. They swapped each night.
Yeah. A bootleg of the whole thing, but I think Fates Warning was the opening band for that too.
They were.
Such a powerful band they are, Queensryche. Really, I mean, they deserve more. People could lump them into the prog rock and stuff like that, prog metal, but they're just so much more than that.
They are.
Not just this album, their entire catalog. And that's the one thing they've never done is put out one album and it was successful and then repeated it. They went in a completely different direction every album. How many bands do that? Very few bands do that. With the success of Operation Mindcrime. Wasn't great at first, and it wasn't until
it took a while.
There was a video for "I Don't Believe in Love," which got played on MTV, and then all of a sudden this album was exploding. Their next album, Empire, #1 song on it, Silent City, it was a huge album for them. They took the money from that tour, and then they went back and said, "We're going to tour. We're going to make it a thing, and we're going to do Operation Mindcrime live, and we're going to do it the way we wanted to do when we couldn't afford it, and that's Operation Live Crime that they put the DVD and VHS at the time. So that's pretty, exactly.
Still a VHS.
But I mean, how many bands would do that? Most bands would have just moved on.
Yeah, they milk it and move on. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, so that tells us it meant a lot to them. And to this day, Jeff Tate owns the rights to Operation Mindcrime.
Playing that live in full,
that's right. And I don't know, I could be wrong. Conrad, you've seen Queensryche, the new Queensryche. Did they play any songs from?
They do.
Do they? Yeah,
they do play. They always play. You'll hear Eyes of a Stranger. You'll hear I Don't Believe in Love. You'll hear all the major ones. Yeah.
Revolution Calling.
Yeah. And he's brilliant too. He's amazing.
Oh, I know. That's why they got him, because he can do them.
He's
You
really
had
good.
to get somebody. You had to get somebody that could do it.
Yeah,
But
well, that's it.
anyway, I've waffled on long enough.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Andrew's turn. The decision
This
maker.
is-
This is what I
Yeah,
thought was
no
going to
pressure.
Oh,
No pressure.
yeah, well, it's actually kind of funny how it's worked out at the end of the day because it's one of those things. This is more of a contest than you think. I know that a lot of people are going, "What the fuck?" And if you listen to these albums back to back, there is a genuine contest in this one. It's not just a cut and dried. One's clearly better than the other one. They're different albums. They both have emotive weight. They're both important to listen to, I think, in a contest. Because even for things like Nightwish, just that alone, I said this last time around, if I'd have started my journey with this band on this album, my entire relationship with the band would be entirely different to what it is today. Like, it's a phenomenal release. It really, really is. And Queensryche, I came from the other direction as well. It was like, I originally thought this was a little bit overblown, more in Dave's camp. But then the more I've listened to it over the years, the more I've come to absolutely adore it. It's funny because, yeah, when we put the post up, Jimmy's gone, how is this even a question? Because Jimmy loves his album to bits.
He does.
And it's like, but this is the context of getting in the audience choice top 10. That's why none of these albums suck, because, this is the audience choice top 10 that makes up this list. So both got voted in very, very highly. I've listened to Mindcrime so many times now, it's not funny. And I'm still blown away. If not, I get more blown away over time with just how well executed it is. I began ambivalent toward it, like I said, but now I'm completely enamored with it. It still sounds fresh, incredibly so for an 88 release. There's a bit of a vintage timestamp to it, yeah, of course, but it's really vibrant, and the story itself is utterly timeless. I think that if anything, Conrad, you mentioned before about, the media, the law, all that kind of stuff, and that's probably more relevant today in 2023 than it was in 88. Like, it's probably more relevant, has more power to it.
Yeah.
There's so much detail. Like, I'm going to disagree with Dave. I think there's a heap of detail in the storytelling, and the mix along with it too. Between the mix and the storytelling, you do get a complete journey. The spoken touches cap it all off nicely. I love the different voices for characters presented in this one as well. You don't just get, it's a full-on narrative piece. You get different characters present. You get I forget the name you mentioned before, forgive me, but the female vocal as well, like all these
Sweet
things,
Sister Mary.
Sweet like Sister. all these bits and pieces are so well done, and it's great to get a complete story with different characters in it. That to me is what we're talking about when it comes to concept albums. It's like a story being presented through music. Now, it's easy to get lost in it. It's completely immersive. It is the number one seed in this whole process for a pretty good reason. It's obviously well loved, and it's also very well done. The depth I thought was stunning. I thought the character development too is something that's overlooked in a lot of commentary about this one, but you do get a range of emotions. You get, even though none of us will sit here and say that we could see ourselves being Nicky, understanding Nicky's motivations and his emotions through the story is well done. Like, you are not left in any gray area going, why did that character do that? Everything makes sense.
Yeah,
and that's remarkable to do in song, quite remarkable. And it's got the right blend of blunt and subtlety in there too. There's great little changes that make it flow and change gears nicely. The drum and vocal interlude in things like Spreading the Disease is one example. I love how that even those little mid-song changes really serve the album flow nicely. The little synth addition on this one, the synth strings on this is good. It adds that bit of extra little spice in tracks like The Mission. There's a lot to take in. It never gets tired. I can understand why Jeff's sitting there saying it's a desert island, because you can listen to this. It's remarkable how well you can listen to this on repeat. I've listened to this, we reviewed it, I think, earlier this year, Dave, I think you and I, and we've done it before a couple of different times. I did it with Jimmy and Dennis, and I've done it with, I think, Tim and Brendan, and now we've done it in this process. Like, I've done this one a few times over the years, and it's actually, it's funny how you get more enamored with this one as time goes by for me. I think there's some all-time fucking iconic tracks on this one as well. I mean, Operation Mindcrime itself, I Don't Believe in Love. There are songs that they are still world-renowned hit songs for a band that, are staples in their diet, so to speak, for these guys. It's got everything. It's got vocals, riffs, solos, rhythm, songs, story, along with a pretty damn perfect mix as well, from my point of view. But then you go to Imaginaerum. It's a more recent release. It's only 12 years old by comparison. But it's a stunning release. Like, it's actually fucking brilliant. I'd argue that the actual technical concept of it is harder to execute. Does that make sense? Like, there's an actual beginning, middle, and end with Operation Mindcrime. With Imaginaerum, there's no real demonstration of that. It's literally a man fleeting through the highlights of his life as he's fading out. So it's a harder one to execute successfully. It could easily turn into a mess because it's so much in the ether. It's in the spiritual world.
You so need to see the movie. You really need to see the movie.
I will see the movie at some point, but we're not talking about movies. We're talking about albums. That's a point. So, but because of that, and that's not that I'm not saying that's a negative. I'm saying it's actual points because it's such a hard thing to execute well, and they've done a very fucking good job with it. It's also got a benefit being, like, I know everyone loves about, Operation Mindcrime has been around longer. It's got more nostalgia effect, but this one has the benefit of being a newer album. Hence, it has probably a more lush and even tone overall, to be honest. The depth and balance in the mix is hard to beat. I love the punchiness of it, the way the songs sound, the balance in it. Like, if you want to talk about just mixing and capturing sounds, there's a big difference in those years. And it does bring this one more vibrant to listen to, ultimately. I love the mix in Mindcrime.
Yeah.
But if you put 1 and 2 together, A, B them, one does sound
sonically, Nightwish just kills it.
Yeah. I think
that's having technology on one
side. On one side. And I agree. I understand
whoever put that together is a fucking genius.
But at the same time, I'm talking about, as you listen to these albums, we're putting them head to head. So this is what you're going with. Now, I would argue Tate's vocals are more dynamic, but Olsen's vocals cover a wider range of styles. So there's a real interesting comparison point in that alone between the vocal styles on this one. And the 1-2 punch in Imaginaerum of clean and harsh vocals from Marco and that as well is really cool. It adds extra punch. It brings more depth to the light and shade of the listen of it. It's impressive and important in the context of the album as well. There are some songs on there, for example, that is absolutely stunning. That I Want My Tears Back, for example. And the way they balance those things out is just really well done, and it adds so much to the album. There's a lot of drama in there too. You can't deny that one. It's funny where Mindcrime is incredibly bleak. Like Dave has mentioned, Imaginaerum can give you an uplifting feel. So in terms of talking about, we've said all these concept albums are so fucking bleak. We've probably found one that's actually not. You know what I mean? And it's a really empowering and emotively releasing listen. So by comparison, it's really interesting in that one as well. I love the range of emotions conveyed in that album. There's some real beauty with tracks like Slow Love Slow as well. It's a great piece of music composed in there. And again, the composition on this is fantastic. I love the different instruments used across the different folk elements to jazz lounge elements to all this stuff. There's a lot in Imaginaerum, a lot. It's not... I think by comparison with Imaginaerum being so much in the more spiritual realm, you've got less boundaries. With Mindcrime, you're more constrained because it has to fit the narrative. Correct. Now, there are pros and cons to each of those things. This one, though, Imaginaerum gives you massive payoff moments, just like Mindcrime does as well. In song, just the payoff, the moments you go, oh, fucking wow. Both albums have that one. That's why I say this isn't just a cut and dry fucking battle at the top. This is not. And this has everything you want from this style of music with Imaginaerum. Like, it's got music, performances, writing, all of it. It's got, if anything, it might be a heavier album than Mindcrime in musical terms, in riffing and all that kind of stuff. So it might be a quote unquote more metal, to be a dumbass about it, but it might be a more metal or more heavy album. The subject matter on each is very dark and heavy as well, but there's just an interesting thing. That album, Imaginaerum, is just a musical feast for the senses. Like, especially tracks like Arabesque and All My Tears Back. Like, you got, like, Arabesque gives you the Middle Eastern kind of vibe. You got everything in there, so that you get a lot to take in one album, in both of them. And this is really, really hard to distinguish between the two because, like I said, I know a lot of people are fucking screaming at their screens and going, "What the fuck are you talking about? Mindcrime by the street?" And it's not by a street. It's not even close. Like, it's not a runaway battle. It's an extremely tight battle. And if you think that one is blitzing the other one, listen to them both back to back. do that. Take a couple of hours out, listen to them both back to back, because it will change your appreciation of both these albums for the better, as far as I'm concerned, by having them both listen to it at the same time. You can't listen to these albums and not be impressed with either of them. That's the shitty part about doing these ones, because one eventually has to go home. It's. I think one is a bit leaner than the other one, which in this means that it's a concept that isn't stretched a touch too far. And the winner gets points for mine for creating an album that is utterly timeless, as well as the legacy of it. And while the other album is utterly phenomenal, the one I'll go back to, and one I'll go back to quite often, I'll go back to these both often. I hadn't listened to Nightwish until we'd done this process, really not this album anyway. And I fell in love straight away. It's just one of those ones where you have to pick. And so if you have to pick in the context of going for a concept album, I found myself where one stays lean and tight the whole way through. I find the last song in particular on one stretches things just a touch too far. And so I am going to go with Operation Mindcrime. It's not by much. Believe me, it's not by much. It's not one of those ones. It really is. Like, I'm selling both these albums because I think they're absolutely both phenomenal. Yeah. But when I was listening to them both, I think one just stays the course, has the beginning, middle, and end, and has no fat on it at all. And while the fat in Imaginaerum is what brings the flavor, it also can pad things out just a touch too much. And I think they played a little bit too far with it. While I love it to bits, if I have to be critical, which is the point of this exercise, then you have to find something to pick on.
There's very little fat to trim on Operation Mindcrime at all. Yeah. What would you take out? You can't. Maybe
the short songs.
Well, but those short ones, those like
they're
waiting for 22 and stuff.
No, they're not, Dave.
They are.
They're not
part of the journey.
The first two songs, get to the fucking point.
But hang on, just hear me out here, because
they have a point.
They do.
No, they don't. The point is to skip them.
Dave, this is not Dream Theater. Now with
shots fired. Yeah.
With the title track on Imaginaerum, in the video, I'm sure it has complete context. In the audio form, I felt like it stretched the album out a couple of minutes too long, and it wandered a bit too much.
Yeah,
and
it does. I agree. Yeah,
and the title track isn't in the movie.
Well, and you love that. If you're going to use the movie to weight the thing your way, and then you say that title track isn't in the movie, well, that kind of explains my argument, doesn't it? But for the guy that says the short song doesn't matter, but the the important song isn't in the movie. No, but the thing is that song, whilst I love it, it felt a little bit too like trying to tap into the Pink Floyd track, "Great Gig in the Sky," where they're talking about
the closing credits. It's the outro to the movie.
I get it.
It's the outro.
But the thing is that, but like any other thing you go to movies for, how often do you sit through the credits?
Yeah, it's not a Marvel
I
film,
do because I'm a movie nerd.
Yeah,
but that's where
Queensryche didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
they didn't have ending credits. It was just a story.
Was that song written with that in mind, though, or was it just written? Yeah, that
was the only song. There's two songs on the album not written by Thomas Holopainen. One being The Crow. That was written by Marco, actually.
Yeah.
The last one's written by the producer. He just put it's a score. It's like taking parts
it's a beautiful
of
piece.
the album and putting it together.
Yeah.
It's just like the closing credits stuff.
And I love listening to it.
Need to be there.
But I'm only picking on it because I have to find something. Like, I have to find something. And it's not easy to do, but when you have to find a splitting point, you have to find a splitting point. Now, just for the record, we had predetermined, if you listened or watched in previous weeks, that this makes it a tie in the grand scheme of things. Not with Bell, though. With Bell here, it makes it a 3-2 vote. But in the context of things, that in the event of a tie, which like Bell's waving a vote off, and I'm like, well, she's here. It may as well count.
Yeah.
But just in the event of a tie, as it would or would not be, whatever you want to look at it as, but we determined, because generally speaking, there's going to be an even number in this battle series, where would be the higher seed would be the one that goes through. Queensryche being number 1 seed, Nightwish being number 9, I think it was in the end. That would mean that in terms
pretty much what I thought would happen. I'm surprised Jeff didn't go with Mindcrime, I thought it'd be Conrad, Jeff, definitely Mindcrime.
Believe me, man, it was not
Andrew,
easy to
I
come
was
up.
unsure. He could have gone either way.
I still could have, but I had to find something to
But you know what? This actually makes it easier for me because putting Imaginaerum up against the Crimson Idol or Scenes from My Memory or Welcome to My Nightmare would have been fucking painful. But now it's a lot easier because those albums fucking smoke Mindcrime.
Dave, Dave, hang on. I haven't told you, Dave. I haven't told you what's coming next week. So you say it's easier. I think I might be about to burst your bubble because next week it's Metropolis Parts 2, Scenes from Memory versus Welcome to My Nightmare.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting that. Jesus fucking Christ.
Dave, you're feeling the pain that I just went through. I tell you what, the fact that I chose, and I was thinking back after I was writing this, like, I did this with Rush because I had to be objective, right? And if I was going to be true to myself, I was going to tell a lie, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, no, don't do that. I only want people to tell the truth. Be yourself.
It's like two parts of my fucking psyche going head to head with each other.
I know.
Two albums at two points of my fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you do that, man? Conrad, this is your fault, man. You came up with this idea.
Well, ultimately, it all is his fault.
Conrad, this is a fucking fantastic one because everyone gets emotionally invested in his albums because these are albums that you connect with.
I thought it would be a good idea when I came up with the idea. I thought, hey, maybe we should, you know. And now I've realized, this is a bigger undertaking.
It's a lot of work. That was so innocent. Yeah.
Sorry, Mel,
everybody gets emotionally attached to these records.
This is true. Like I said last week, Streets against Crimson Idol, they're similar stories. They would be a great, and Welcome to My Nightmare against Ziggy Stardust. They didn't make it into the top 10.
No.
Yeah, that's a shame too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bella, you were saying something before. What were you saying before? We didn't hear you.
Oh, I just said that Conrad's intentions were completely innocent, I'm sure.
They were.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh, that's it.
Just pissed everyone
off. What? We did 2 battles with Imaginaerum, and I still haven't done an actual review of that album.
Yeah. Wow.
I got a lot more I could say about it. But
I know. One day we will, Dave. One day we will. But yeah, that was... So obviously this time around, Queensryche will go through, but I don't think that's to any detriment to the Nightwish album. If you have not done yourself the favor and checked out Nightwish Imaginaerum, please do. The sucky part of this is...
I know Nightwish isn't American, but America doesn't have the fucking stronghold in entertainment. Finland have got some amazing stuff, so jump on Finland because Finland is cool.
Yeah, that's true. Look, I'm happy because, like I said, that album is my Desert Island album, and I can't be sad. But in part of me, Nightwish. I generally felt that Nightwish put the, for me personally, I could relate to it more. So
it's a powerful album. It's an incredibly powerful album.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And I think if you haven't listened to it, you have to.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe people out there who haven't heard it will go, "Holy fuck." Wow.
The Nightwish album has literally given me goosebumps from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I can't say that about any other album. That could possibly rival.
That's the whole point of these things is we're at the end of the day we're getting 10 great albums to go through, and they go battle and all that sort of stuff, and it's all a bit of stupidity, a bit of fun, and we put objective hats on and do what we can with it, which is it's great to see the different range of emotions. Like it's been really interesting to see Jeff be challenged both in the Rush versus Annihilator one last time around, and where he's going on these ones too. But it's a credit to these albums that one, they get nominated so highly that like we poll the audience, they can pick anything they want, and then we choose a top 10 out of that, and it's fucking phenomenal. But just the way they hold up, the way they speak to people, and to have, I mean, how many concept albums are there really in the world? A lot. And these are the ones that are the most popular ones out there. And then we listen to them, we put them head to head, and we go, fuck, it's actually hard to split these two. So, it's
you know what we should do sometimes? How about concept albums from bands that none of us fucking know?
Well, that'd be hard.
That'd be really hard because we know quite a lot of music.
I know, but there are bands out there that I'm sure that none of us know, and they've done concept albums. We just go, it's one under the radar or something.
As in a fresh listen.
I know how much you like research, Bell. Maybe I'll set you a task.
Yeah.
That would be really fucking hard. To
I
find
know it would be
albums
really
that all
hard.
5 of us haven't heard.
But it would be great because it would open up our minds to not only new bands and new albums and stuff that we just somehow went under the radar.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
That
if
would
I
also
do say so myself.
It'd be we could be a lot more
objective,
objective about it because we wouldn't lean in one direction or another due to the fact that we're familiar.
That's a challenge for our listeners then. I guess find something for us. I don't know.
Pick some deep cut, like deep dive discography concept albums that you think are fantastic. Like I would pick, for example, Magic from Dio, but it's something that I know. It's something that I know.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, I'm surprised. I just remember. Did that not make the list?
2112. There was 2112. There was
Rush.
River Runs Red.
Rush.
There was a few of them.
Jesus Christ.
Dave, you've had your Rush
in my life.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Hemispheres. You got Hemispheres is a
God. Tell you what, when his balls drop, I'll listen to another fucking Rush album.
Oh come on.
Dave. That's enough. Anyway. All right, let me go through some comments.
What are people saying about it?
We got some comments, so let me go through. There's a few here. I'm a long way behind on comments. So forgive me. Yes, Queensryche goes through. Basher says, conveniently, the THRS Spotify had these two great albums following each other, and immediately after Mindcrime finished and Imaginaerum started, it was obvious to me that Nightwish's album was on a higher level. It's epic, huge, emotional, soul-touching, just gets better and better. So there we go. Some love straight off the bat for Nightwish. Yep. Darren flipped it, though, and said Operation Mindcrime. Michael said Mindcrime, bought it on vinyl, then CD later. And then here's one for you, Belle. Darren said, aren't all drummers dickheads? So
I just looked on Facebook. Jimmy has defriended me as a friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
Hang on. To be fair,
Sorry, Jimmy.
Okay. We constantly make jokes about drummers and everything, but they use all 4 appendages, arms and legs. Yet people make jokes about Kirk Hammett using 2 hands and his fucking foot on the wah pedal. The wah pedal is awesome.
Well, he's been killing the cat now for too long. Killing that cat for too long.
Dave, he's still not using 4 appendages, so I'm not quite sure what your point is.
I can use all 5.
It's only 3, man.
Anyway, like, where are we going with this? Rowan says 2 excellent albums, but Mindcrime is a top 5 all-time fave album, while Imaginaerum is just nearly making the case to be my top 10 fave concept album. So it's Mindcrime for Rowan. Andrew said Mindcrime for me. I bought the live version first after a review on Metal from Melbourne on 3RRR and was blown away. Then purchased the studio version, still my number 1. Michael says Mindcrime for me too. Guy says, Jeff, ring the bell. It's over. Darren says, not sure about that, Dave. Eyes of a Stranger, I don't believe in love, and Needle Lies stand on their own. So back to Dave, not saying things.
Eyes of a Stranger is a fucking great song. I will not criticize that at all. But the 2 songs leading up to it are a waste of fucking space.
Okay. Fighting words. Darren says, show us your feet, Dave. So let's see how
yeah. There we go. Oh, no. I'm, speaking of falling off chair, I thought after I read that, you guys might have fallen off your fucking chairs.
Right. I didn't fall off. Now challenge me to show other body parts. Fucking yeah.
Dave, the night is not over. We're still streaming. Anything's possible.
I know. I'm not falling off my chair tonight, damn it.
You know what's going to happen if you do, right?
Oh, wow.
It's going to be...
You're going to clip it and show it.
And then we're going to triple saying, along with you saying, I'm not going to fall off my chair tonight. So you're going to you're forewarned.
I'm working really hard.
We don't hate you, Dave. It's more a sense of pity. So
you need to listen to Imaginaerum a lot more. That's my response.
Here we go. Vinny says, Conrad looked like he was about to piff his pizza cutter at Dave after Dave's review. Needs Thor's mum to give him a dressing down. The mother of thunder. Andrew says, I have the
older the album, the more chance there is of a new band coming along and doing something a lot better.
Let's leave this here. Lee says, deluded, Dave.
No, I'm not. It's just better. Something old got replaced by something new. That hurts a lot of people, but something new can be better.
It can be.
Yeah,
it absolutely can be.
It can be. It's a great fucking album, and anyone says it's not, then fuck, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no one says. I don't think anyone's saying Nightwish isn't a good album. Like Imaginaerum. No, I don't think anyone said Imaginaerum is not a good album. Andrew said it is a tribute to Queensryche in writing Mindcrime and how great it is when there was talk of the album being produced into a stage production and a movie. Michael said, "What?
It can't be adapted. It hasn't happened. They've spoken about it for fucking decades.
They're fighting over it. They're looking for it. You know, Canadian connection to Operation Mindcrime. Does anyone know the Canadian connection?
I'm sure you'll tell us.
There is one. There is one. Yes. So Jeff Tate used to live in Montreal. Okay.
Yep.
And he wrote the album one night as he was walking through the streets. The idea came to him, and then he went into a church or something, and then it just boom. He went home and wrote it down. That's the Canadian connection. So the album was written in Montreal. Yeah,
that's nice. Cool.
That's nice.
Well, I mean, it's my father used to say, Jeff, you are the king of fucking useless knowledge. How the fuck do you know this shit? And I go, I don't know, Dad. I just do.
What do you say? Because it's artistic knowledge. It's just it's important to have these things. Now, Michael said, if Operation Mindcrime film is made, potential for the film to underwhelm hardcore fans, the album is a real risk to take. That is true, which is why I think there's been such a I guess holding on to the rights, if that makes sense, because you don't want it to come out and underwhelm.
No, that's right.
He's very, very selective on who will get to direct it.
And I completely concur.
The right director hasn't approached
did, like
it yet.
the Bourne films, whoever like did those types of films. That's what it's
Jason Bourne.
Yeah, that it needs to be like that sort of director. Whoever did them, I don't know.
I'd pick somebody like really dark,
Alex Proyas could do it.
Like
or Villeneuve.
Quentin
Villeneuve. What's his name? Denny Villeneuve.
What from Dune? Wow,
the guy that done Dune.
Well, that's kind of cool because he's from Montreal. He's Canadian as well. So there we go.
Alex Proyas could do it. Who did The Crow and Dark City, for example? He could do it if he had someone else just making it a bit more linear because he gets very artistic. If you had someone just going, okay, rein it in a bit, but he could.
Or David Lynch making it.
David Lynch would be interesting.
Oh, wow, wouldn't that would be interesting.
David Lynch would be interesting. Guy says, I'll name my next child Nightwish. So there we go. But here's one. Vinny says, and it's funny, Dave's not here for this one, but it would make a great topic for a future THRS stream. Songs that touched you so deeply that altered your state of mind.
Wow.
That's an interesting one.
It depends on what substances you're on at the time.
Well, that's true. and that could be anything, so we'll see. But
Dave says Aldi wine. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, if I had more money, I'd be drinking something of more fucking quality. Like
the comment here, Dave, that brought this on was it would make a great topic for a future stream. Songs that touched you so deeply that it altered your state of mind. So back to what Nightwish did to you and Jeff, for example. That's an interesting
about shrooms.
Yeah.
That would be like THRS Confessions or some shit.
Fuck. Let's go with Billy Idol's Speed. Anyway,
you don't want to get in here.
No, I don't do anything actually. I just have alcohol and that's it. Basher says, I'm surprised and not Jeff. I can relate to your review. Absolutely mesmerized. I feel the same emotions as the song The Crow, the Owl, and the Dove in many of the songs. So there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some feedback there. Yeah. Michael says, the passion is what it's all about, and that's true. Absolutely. Nicole says, well, I know who I'm voting for next week. Okay, looking forward to that. And Guy says, everything is a review of that album. There we go. Vinny says, to be fair, battles between two favourites has stemmed from childhood. I remember having debates with cousins over Fat Cat and Humphrey Bear. For the record, the bear could do it all. So, yes, battles between favourites.
Yeah. Humphrey Bear all the way, man.
It's so... Yeah,
they both got banned for not wearing pants.
I know, right? I fucking hate it.
And it was a better time back then, man. It was simpler. You didn't have to wear pants if you wanted to entertain people.
No. I suppose
all I can think of is the aggro outtakes now.
How cool was aggro?
They were good.
Aggro was awesome. I must say,
aggro was great.
Didn't Fat Cat get in trouble for assaulting someone?
The person did, yeah.
These days, it's large cat. You can't be calling him fat. Okay, you'll get cancelled for that shit.
Yeah, just like Bluey.
Large cat, like mine.
Or smallest impaired.
Smallest in bed. So Belle, what were you calling your cat earlier tonight?
Fat wombat.
Festively fun. Nicole says Rain Seed has a great concept album. Okay, I don't know that one. I have to check it out. Cool.
Now that's something we add to the list. Rain Seed.
Yeah.
Is that how you spell it?
Yeah, it looks like it. Rain XEED. So there's a concept album there. Apparently, I have to go.
I'm writing it down. I'll look it up. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Rowan's gone. I could give you a list of some great concept albums. Yes, I'm sure you could. And Nicole's also said Majestic has a great concept album. Yes, they do. Definitely. Basher says, welcome to Nightmare. Second time they didn't make it, the first being that they didn't qualify for Eurovision.
Well, tune in next week because it's on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Welcome to next week. Yeah, next week.
Andrew says, man. Alex Cooper against Dreamfield.
I don't know. There you go. Cop that, Dave. Andrew says, one concept album I don't think people know of is Weather Systems by Anathema. Such an emotional story about meeting someone and starting a relationship, then losing their loved one. I don't know that one. That'd be interesting too.
That's another one.
Hey, how can Porcupine fear of a black planet not make?
You know it, Dave. That kind of defeats the purpose.
But still, it should have made the list. That's
what
fantastic.
was that last one, Andrew? What was the name of the album?
The name of that album was Weather Systems.
All right.
Thank you.
Anathema. Yeah.
I got Anathema because that's my actual handle on Discord. Anathema.
Okay, well, I've seen Anathema a few times. They started out like a death doom band, and then they went in a proggy direction. Yeah, no, quite prefer the proggier stuff, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. No, definitely, there's some good ones to check out already. Darren's going to show us your hands, Dave,
and then bang.
You're not getting and then you fall off your chair. It ain't happened.
Yeah, he's gone, damn, it didn't work when you showed your feet before. But Michael said sound design and mix on the film for Mindcrime, I believe, would be critical. It absolutely would be. And said the same thing. Producer and director need to be right.
Like, I can still hear in my head that, the sound of that window going down and then, kill her. That's all you have to do. Kill Mary.
Yeah.
She's a risk. Yeah. And get the priest as well. And then the car driving up.
Yeah.
You can hear
it.
They
will adapt it to make it filmic, and it won't work.
I like the.
We were talking last week about Streets and how it had that gritty New York feel. You could easily convey that in a film for Mindcrime.
Oh yeah, Streets would be easily adaptable to a film than Mindcrime would. I'm a film nerd. Okay, I fucking studied this for years.
I like
Mindcrime can't be adapted that easily. You can adapt the fucking King Diamond's concept album easier than Mindcrime.
I think the Mindcrime script has been written. It's just a matter of finding the right person.
Yeah, the right
so it's been adapted. It's done.
I'd like
it's just
to see like a Blade Runner
look. See it happening.
Like a Blade Runner look to it.
A Blade Runner feel would be good.
A Blade Runner feel to it would be really
work.
Cool.
No,
yeah.
It needs to be modern because that takes away the threat. If the world's already collapsed like it has in Blade Runner, there's no fear of this organization taking over people.
No, a feel though, or no.
It needs to be 20 years ago.
I didn't mean it literally, like with flying cars and shit, Dave.
Dave,
what?
It's about the vibe. It's about the vibe.
All right, you don't know me that well. Okay, I'm a fucking film nerd.
So that scene with the window comes down.
Notes. That's why he doesn't know you that well.
Yeah.
So
the window comes down. It's going to be a flying car.
Yeah.
And some guys going to be like on a
Operation
jetpack.
Mindcrime meets The Fifth Element. So
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Multipass.
Mila Jovovich. Fucking yeah.
Yeah. She could be married. She could be married.
There is your next text message, Dave. So Basher says, MC film, it's never too late until you cark it about Mindcrime, yes. Guys questioning.
How come David Lynch never directed Mila Jovovich? Holy shit. Slow motion and everything.
Oh, wow. Here we go, Dave. Dave's off to the races.
Fucking act.
Basher's questioning political correctness. Vinny's going, well, Play School had to lay off staff after their soft toy friends were busted in an all-toy orgy. That's true. Funny as fuck. King Diamond albums, very concept albums they are, Guy. They are very much
but we all know them. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Did any of those make it into the list that you're
They were some short-listed, just didn't quite get them.
I think albums should have been up there.
I'm sure voted for them.
I think them was higher than Abigail from memory.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have. I would have picked.
This
They're
is
both
better.
great, but
That's
I
why.
like them is better than Abigail. Yeah.
Mm.
I think Abigail's fantastic. Abigail brings my
Yeah,
love
yes.
of metal and horror together.
Mm.
Yeah, but so does them.
Sorry?
So does them.
Yeah,
them does.
yeah, definitely.
Them has a song called Tea. That just thinks of granny shit.
Should they have cut that out?
That's not metal. That's granny shit.
It's what
I
the tea
remember-
does to you. It's not.
Mate,
It's not
it's
like
herbal
granny.
tea.
It doesn't
Yeah.
do anything to you.
Maybe
It's like a
maybe
lady
Dave should
version of
drink some
coffee.
tea instead of the
Mushroom
LD wine. So
Hey,
Summons demons.
it's a poor man's drink.
Man Family says
Philip Lowe. I used to drink Jamesons and fucking Guinness. Philip Lowe is the reason I'm drinking Aldi wine. $10 a car. Philip Lowe, you're a cunt. You're fucking up people's lives.
all right. We've got the bin coming up.
Hey,
Hold your
but-
fire.
At least he replied to my email. Fucking Anthony and
Yeah.
Elby, or whatever his fucking name is. He didn't reply to me. I wrote a letter to both of them, an email. But Mr. Philip Lowe, you have the balls to send me a reply. I'm impressed.
No, credit where due, man. That's
Yeah.
You got to give credit where due when they do something like that.
He
Man
hasn't
Family said
replied to
Humphrey-
the reply.
I'm sure he won't either. Humphrey didn't wear pants. That's true. Nicole said, and now people dress their pets and still don't cover their butts. That's a very good point,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Humphrey was a pimp, man. He was hardcore.
Vinny says camera 2 on Dave's chair. Darren's going, oh dear, because we've just hit the fucking wall now. And Rowan says, though, Dave, here you go. I'm with Dave on this. I don't think Mindcrime needs to be a film. So
Doesn't
there
need
we
to
go.
be.
Thank you.
It
Could
should
be.
be honored, probably.
It works well as a concept album CD, but it can't be transcribed to a film. It just can't.
You're
Wait,
just
is
worried,
the
Dave, that
problem-
if it ever is, you won't know how to respond.
Okay. Your basic film structure at about 30 minutes, you have plot point 1, which changes the direction. At about 60 minutes, you have a dramatic heightened event. At 90 minutes, you have plot point 2, which drives you towards the resolution.
Oh,
Mindcrime doesn't have these things. It doesn't have the emotive weight to convey to a 2-hour
creative
Hollywood
license. You're
film.
not gonna.
It doesn't happen. It's one emotion from start to finish. It doesn't have enough strength
I
to
don't
be
agree
a
with
film.
I disagree, Dave.
Dave, you are going to be on your own on this one, I think. Bill, you were trying to say something before?
You know, at some point they
Oh my
will adapt
God.
to a movie, and it's going to fucking fail. It's going to flop, and then you'll say, "Hey, Dave from the Hard Rock Show, he was right. Dave knew his shit."
Dave,
Thank you.
Dave,
Comment.
if
Dave
that
for
happens,
president. I'm going
you
to
know what?
fucking
If that
rule
happens,
America.
I promise
Tell
you,
you.
I'll clip this and go, Dave was right. Okay.
Exactly.
Dave was
On
right.
repeat.
I hope that happens.
We should have listened to Dave.
Yeah.
We should, yeah.
Now, but now,
and
I
Chinese
would
Democracy is a
according to
fucking
Dave.
great album.
just put Dave on mute, will I? No.
Oh, you can do that? Wow.
Yeah. You were going to say something, Bill? Sorry?
Oh, fucked if I know. I don't remember.
Oh, fuck.
I think
Sorry.
it was. I think it was as Jeff Tate. Has he got a director in mind? Because I'm hearing that all the
He
the
tried.
right
Well,
director hasn't
he has
approached
been
him.
approached. He has been approached several times, but he won't release it because the right director. He has felt that the right director hasn't come along. What's been pitched
Yeah, but
pitched
does
to him.
does
he
he
hasn't-
know who that is?
He hasn't agreed to what's been pitched.
Mhm.
The ideas that have been pitched by directors, he's kind of gone, nah. So
I
he's
can-
waiting for the right director, I guess.
That's
You know what?
good to
It's not
hear.
going to happen because directors with personality don't exist anymore. You're not going to have a Tarantino. You're not going to have a George Lynch.
No, I don't know.
It doesn't happen because everybody's so fucking bland these days. Nobody's
Well,
going to have a
I-
director.
somebody
I-
might, somebody
George
might
Give
come
the,
along
the
and do it
context,
justice.
the
I hope somebody
the
does
thing.
come along and do it justice.
I think that you'll get a good one from, say, the streaming services world.
No, you won't. It's also fucking bland with a dark filter with a
Someone
character
new
in the
will
woods.
come along.
Okay,
It always
Dave.
happens in
Dave.
fucking Netflix.
Dave.
You know what?
Dave.
If Jeff Tate can direct it himself,
All
then
right,
yeah,
Dave, we'll let
it's
you
gonna
direct it. How about that?
Yeah, okay.
How about we
I don't
get
think
that
Tate would
fucking hip
agree
hop
to that.
Dave,
from the
Dave had a
beginning?
deep
Prince
moment
Nile
ago. There's not enough story in
Prince
this
Nile
script.
deserves a movie.
There's
Dave.
no way Tate would let you
Dave.
direct
No.
Mindcrime.
We'll get the
Peter
Duffer
Jackson.
Brothers to do it,
That
Dave. How's that? Get the Duffer
What's that?
Brothers to do it. The Duffer Brothers.
Yeah, the
No.
Wachowski sisters.
Yes.
You know what? Jeff Tate can play second fiddle to Thomas Sabayat Cement from Avantasia because he was amazing in that context. He's not a leading character. He's a supporter.
Dave, it's Tobias Sammet, not Samus
That's
Tobias.
I don't know.
We know you don't know. Too much Aldi wine.
All right. Darren's gone. Thor dropped the hammer. Basher says, is the book better than the film? Is the film better than the album? That's going to be a timeless debate.
Yes.
Michael says, Kiss Attack of the Phantom proves that choose filmmakers carefully. Good point.
Yeah,
classic.
And Rowan says, did anyone notice Dave just said director George
I did.
Lynch? Yeah.
I said Dave, he's a guitar player. You know, you didn't hear me.
Dave's on fire. Basher says, Dave, you're starting to make sense. Better hide my Glenlivet. So there we go.
Yes.
All right. We are getting long in the tooth. It's time to wrap this one up. We are getting well and truly into the weeds now.
I'm just starting to have fun.
I know, Dave. This is why I'm going to wrap it up, because your version of fun is not everyone else's version of fun.
I bet it is. Put it in the comments and see if they want to see more.
We'll see. All right. Now, check us out on TV every Thursday night, as well as our streams on Channel 44 in Adelaide at 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne at 10:30 p.m. as well. You can check out both of those online at the same time via app and website at CTV Plus. They basically simulcast it the same way. Otherwise, you can watch on TV screens in Adelaide and Melbourne. We have live streams every week, so we're back again next week at the same time and place with our battle being Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from Memory versus Welcome to My Nightmare. It's Dream Theater versus Alice Cooper. Dave's going to be in hell for that one, which is good. It's quite fitting punishment for tonight's antics. Yeah. What else have we got here? I
think you're going to like it, Dave.
Yes. We have a lot going on. There's heaps going through. We have a lot of fun with these ones. Hopefully have a lot of fun as well. There's, again, reference tracks in the description in case you missed them and you're watching or listening later on for these ones. You didn't get them in the chat. There's links for reference tracks in the description box of this episode. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to us as well. All of our details are in that same box. And a big thank you, as always, to our fantastic sponsors in Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details, like ours, are in the description, so give them a like or a follow as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Got a couple of them here tonight with us, which is great. With Belle and Jeff here, which is fantastic to see them jumping on. Conrad started there as well. I think, Dave, I don't know if you're still in there or not, but you were for a while. So it's all fucking manic. I don't know, Dave. I'm not going to ask you anymore. So if you want to help us out and get involved in supporting us, then check out our Patreon. There's some changes and some good stuff coming through there, including Dave and I have discussed doing a live stream exclusive into the Patreon crowd as well in the very, very near future. So
I'm not in the shower for anyone who's hopeful. It's not happening. We're talking about music, old school, hard rock show. Get your hand off it. It's all good.
How big is your head? Honestly. It's
Belle,
massive.
he's going to ask you which head you mean now.
Oh. Right. Sorry, you're right.
Hey, people have been talking about me doing our OnlyFans for a long time. I can't deal with the shame. Fucking.
You don't have the time.
Dave,
I really don't.
Any shame.
I know. I invited Dave during the week. Because I had a spot open up in one of my role-playing games. I sent Dave out this lovely message, and he went, "Now, fuck off."
Hey, just to be clear, this is like this doesn't involve dressing up like Frankenfurter.
No. I tell you what,
role-playing games are totally innocent. They involve like boards and dice and shit like that. It doesn't involve altering your lifestyle or dressing weird. It's like a board game. So role playing is completely cool. Okay. Continue.
No one dresses up to fucking. I mean, it's not fucking.
The thing is that I guarantee you, if Dave and Julia started playing doctors and nurses with dress ups, he's going to be all for that.
So I'm sure he would.
How the fuck did you know?
Because I know you.
Don't have time for your game, Jeff. I got my own fucking role game.
Anyway.
Seriously, I got no. I would love to do so much more stuff and help so many other people, but fucking blame Philip Lowe. He's a cunt.
Okay, we need to get Dave off this thing. Let's go through the comments to get to a bin. Vinny says yes, I'm not sure what that was anymore, but he also says, I reckon Dave could be the aggro in a reboot. That could definitely be true.
Hey, was it a hot blonde who had her hand up?
Oh my god.
Oh my. What percentage is that fucking wine? Holy shit.
I mean, I've been drinking the entire session and I'm nowhere near it, so I don't know what's going on with Dave. Man Family says night all, and I don't blame him for jumping off when he did. Roland says, just realized that both of tonight's albums referenced the mind. Very good point there, Roland.
Yeah, that's good.
Darren says, great show. People have a good one. We will indeed. Basher says, could you please include the 2 next concept albums on Spotify? Great show. Or we do that every Friday or Saturday. We update the playlist, so make sure you keep up to date with that one. Vinny says, for the record,
I'm going to apologize. I'm sorry if people don't like me.
Agreed.
I'm sorry.
Belle is awesome.
There we go. So we got some love for Belle there. Vinny says, for the record, Belle has been great. So we're looking. It's actually Belle's debut on the live stream. She joined us for the top 10s. And but back then, Belle was saying she wasn't convinced she'd jump into the live streams. And tonight, you just randomly did it, which is actually fantastic. So if you want to jump in more often, we'd be happy to have you, Belle. So
absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. You know what? I have to confess, I've been sitting here and for most of the time, I've just been thinking I'm watching the stream. I'm not actually in it. So
I think you've been good.
You bring balance to the force. It's good.
You do. You're
awesome. Idiots.
And as number 2, I'm gonna do I've started a chat on Messenger with Conrad, Jeff, and Belle. Because Conrad, I'm sorry I completely fucked up, but I linked shit to Jeff. I'll do a mini chat, and we'll be more prepared. We'll be more organized. Believe me, I'm not a complete fucking drunk. I can organize.
Not during the day. But anyway, so
it's been a long week, man.
I know, Dave. It's all good. Basher says, like we said, so we're going to include the albums on Spotify. That happens every Friday or Saturday, so make sure you follow that. Belle's a great addition. That was from Vinny, so just reinforcing that. So Belle, it's been good having you here with us. So yes, thank you for jumping in. Vinny. Darren says the only one with their hand on it is you, Dave. So that's a fair point there from Darren. And Vinny says Anne-Marie Bigger didn't have a hand up aggro for what it's worth. Yes, that's true.
I think aggro had his hand up her.
Yes.
She's into the old. Nice. I gotta watch those videos.
We did not think it was nice.
Dave. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. But I love you, so it's all good. Alrighty, let's do this one. Let's have some fun. This is playing with fire now. I know. Let's go to the bin before we get out of here. So, I don't want to be going to Dave. What are you putting in the bin?
Okay. I got 2. One is broken glass on phones. I've had many phones over the course of my life. The one I currently have now, I've never dropped more than this fucker. But I was using as you do, and the fucking bit of broken glass got stuck in my thumb. I'm like, holy shit. And my daughter's like, Daddy's got something stuck in his thumb. And she goes running to Mom and she's like, get the tweezers and disinfect and pull it out. And it was bad. Okay, but the number 2.
That's the guy who cut himself open with a guitar pick on his head.
That just proves how fucking hard I play, because if a guitar pick can slice your fucking head open, that's awesome, because I had a big cap stuck there.
I shouldn't have done that. What was your second bin?
Second bin, Slinkies. My daughter got home from a week away and she brought home a Slinky. They had some spending money. She brought home a Slinky. Now, the old school metal Slinky, that was cool. That was good. But the plastic Slinky, she's like, I brought a Slinky home, Dad. Here it is. And it's all fucking tangled up.
It's fucked at that point.
I spent ages trying to untangle this motherfucker. I ended up just cutting it in half. Half for my son, half for my daughter, and the other half is the bin. No, okay. A third for my daughter, a third for my son, and that doesn't. Okay.
Dave, do you really want to finish this sentence?
I'm gonna try fractions. Okay. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay.
33.
Okay.
And a third.
Oh fuck! This is gonna be bad.
If you mentalist your way into falling off the chair, I'm going to be impressed.
No, I can't. I can't do it. But the tiny little bit in the middle went in the bin. and half went to my son, half went to my daughter. Even sober, I couldn't do this maths. So
45%, 45%, 5% in the bin.
Okay. Such a loss you were to NASA.
You're a fucking genius, man.
No, because that's 95.
Not right.
That's 95.
10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
45 and 45 is 90.
I failed maths for a reason.
No, it would have been more than that. It would have been like 48% and 48% and 4%. Hey,
yeah,
there's
that
100.
works. That works.
Yeah. It was less than that. So, like, fucking 49, 49, and 2%. 2% went in the bin.
All I can think of right now is
in the middle.
Jerry talking about how people that make bong should have been employed by NASA. That's about us, right?
No, it was the Scott Steiner TNA, you know, that promo. That was the wrestling fucking highlight of fractions and maths. Yeah, okay. 49% for my daughter, 49% for my son, 2% went in the bin. If you can do that in percentages and all that cool shit, that's cool. But
Dave, you should have quit while you were ahead.
No, man. Plastic slinkies that go in the bin.
The thing is, though, if it was metal, you wouldn't have been able to cut it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who thought of doing the cheap shit
so
version?
The whole
of
thing
plastic?
would have been in the bin.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Exactly. Fucking metal is sustainable. Plastic shit. That's fucking up the environment. That's God. Like, you know, Azalea Banks with her plastic tits. That's a fucking waste of space.
We'll circle back to this. Alrighty, let's move on. Conrad, what are you putting in the bin? Follow that up.
Nothing quite as as complicated as that. I would go for Sydney Shitney rail system.
Yes,
Shitney rail system replacement buses from Sydney to Wollongong. Fucking 2 hours on a bus. Go suck a fuck.
I agree. That's
not impressed.
That sucks.
As Donnie Darko says, how exactly do you suck a fuck?
It's a figure of speech, Dave.
No, it's a highlight scene in the movie Donnie
goes
Darko.
into his own Imaginarium. So this is what's going on.
I got one thing. Can I say? Can I watch?
Donnie Darko is cinematic dream. And he questions Jeff to say, how exactly do you suck a fuck?
Yeah. It was a big figment of speech, Dave.
I'm just curious for my own benefit. How do you suck a fuck?
I don't know, Dave. When you find out, let us know. Okay? Go and explore. Have fun with that. Jeff, what are you putting in?
Well, aside from that fucking nasally bitch from the beginning of the show, that one that was talking about Australia in negative terms, so she can get in the fucking bin. Azalea Banks, whatever the fuck her name is. What's her name? I don't even know.
I don't want to see her map of Tasmania.
Azalea.
Okay, yeah. Look, I said she had one redeeming feature, and we all know what I said, so I'm not going to repeat that. But on a more serious note, so I was watching. So Sting is really worried. Sting the musician. He's very worried. Not the wrestler. No. He's not. He's a little bit less worried.
The wrestler is way better.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know, but he brings up a very good point. I think I may have mentioned this before. So right now we're on the precipice in the world, with AI. Right, AI is threatening the world as the way we know it.
Skynet.
Yes, it's Skynet. That's right. So Sting has come out recently, and basically because he's a pretty polarizing guy. I mean, he gets people listen when if he says something, people generally listen.
Yeah.
So he's come up and said that AI, if we don't get a handle on this, it will destroy. I mean, there's not even a music industry. This doesn't exist. But and that's why it's going to be very damaging to what's actually there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in a few years' time where there's bands out there, if you want to call them bands, that actually aren't real people?
Okay? Yeah, well, it's already happening.
That's right. But having like on the charts, number one, they're bullshit charts anyway. But having and people listening because people just don't give a shit. They don't care what it is. If they like it, they're going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
And
but
so
I think there'd be a
same
rebellion
time,
against it too. I think there would be a.
there will be.
pushback.
It'll
will
be
be a
an
rebellion
eventual-
against it,
Yeah.
but there was
Yeah.
a rebellion against fucking
There'll be an
autotune. And that
uprising.
didn't go anywhere. I mean,
An uprising. You know.
yeah, let's organize an uprising. All right.
You know,
Um,
okay, sorry, so I'm going to cut in.
No,
Sorry.
Revolution calling.
They filmed one episode of Cobra Kai season 6, and Stranger Things season 5 is on hiatus because the writers are all on strike
Yeah.
because they're pissed off with the AI stuff. They want to make
Yeah.
sure, one, they get the money they deserve, and two, their jobs aren't going to be replaced by AI. So this is an actual concern right now.
Yeah, I
You
think
mean something that the AI is writing scripts.
Literally, they've
Yeah.
done one episode of Cobra Kai season 6, and
Yeah.
season 5 of Stranger Things has been postponed because
Yep.
all the writers have gone on strike because
Yeah.
AI is an actual threat.
Yeah.
And it's happened
So,
before.
I
It'll get resolved
100%
eventually.
agree
Yeah.
with what you're saying.
Conrad, like you could type in shit and it could write you a
Yeah.
book. It could write you
Yeah.
a novel. All you need is like some characters, and
Yeah.
then it go, all right, here's what I want to do, and it spits it
No.
out.
Yeah.
No.
You could
People
say,
would
give me
buy
the
it.
new Rush album, or give me the new Metallica
Yeah,
album.
the
and it
new
will
Rush album.
produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, I think it's just going to threaten everything that we consider, that's done with a
Creative.
human.
The human
And that's-
beings won't be creative. It'll be
Yeah,
done by
that's-
machine.
Everything will be done, and I think there's a real danger because we already know as far as like this social outcry against autotune, there wasn't one. In fact, the entire music industry embraced it.
Yeah.
And if most metal bands, let's be honest, aren't using autotune, they might for something, but generally it's not something that we use. But the whole pop industry is nothing but fucking autotune. And
you can hear it everywhere.
you can hear it, and these weird fucking spacey vocals that you hear all these people singing. It's like, how is that fucking natural? But now imagine AI doing that, and people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're still gonna love it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It will just
you've had a
completely
whole
replace-
you've had 10, 15 years of kids growing up with auto-tune, and they're trying to sing like that.
Yeah.
And when you get a whole generation of kids trying to sing like AI auto-tune, we just give up right now. There's no point.
That's right. Here's the scariest thing is, though, I think, and this is where it's really scary, is that if a record company, if you want to call it that, and they still do exist, right? They own like Ed Sheeran's music and BMG and all that stuff, right? Imagine them saying to Ed Sheeran, we can create your voice exactly, and we can write songs on a machine. We don't need you anymore, Ed. In fact, we're not going to pay you a fucking dime because we can do it for free in-house.
Yeah.
I don't like Ed Sheeran, but this shit's going to happen.
I think that there will be...
it's all money related, right? If they can save fucking millions, they're going to do it.
People are still going to want to see people perform.
I think also that...
But they perform to auto-tuned, pre-recorded tracks.
Yes, but the way you get around this one is to this should be a hot topic, actually, not a. They should do this as a hot topic maybe next week.
Sorry,
no, it's all right. But just quickly, I think that if you have a disclosure, if you have a legal disclosure requirement where you have to declare what's AI and what's real.
That's not going to happen, though.
But even if they do, people just don't care. That'd be like the same saying. We have to put, if this has been auto-tuned, we have to tell you.
Yeah, but then how do you convince people to care? That's up to the people selling and
I know that.
But you have a whole generation who grows up not caring.
In the 80s, they put labels on music if it was offensive, and all that did is cause the shit to sell even more.
Yeah,
exactly. But you have a whole generation growing up not caring.
That's right. They don't care
because
they're consuming it in a different way.
That's the word,
right? They're consuming it in a different way. The albums, songs get dropped on their phone and Spotify and stuff. They're not scrolling through and looking at the lyrics and or look who made it, who did that. They don't care. They just listen to it and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think ultimately this is going to sound hard to believe, but the advent of social media in its own way will be an antidote to that, because people still connect to social media because of the ability to tell story and to emotively connect, even through a digital space. I think that arts will shift and be done through that more. And so you'll get artists using social media to connect to a loyal audience, to fan base. Maybe you won't get the heights of the heights anymore, but you'll still get real art. I don't think that'll ever stop. And I think it'll still connect and resonate with people because
I doubt it, though, because It gives everybody the tool to be a creator. And if everybody's a creator, nobody's a consumer.
Mate, the
so
whole
nobody
education
has the
system will be
hardship of
redundant
needing
in
to
a
consume
decade.
somebody else's creation.
You're not going to be taught to be creative. You're either creative or you're not.
And creators
Everyone
are
has
consumers
the,
as well.
everyone has the potential.
Exactly.
And if
Good
everyone
point,
can do it
Paul.
themselves, they're focused on themselves, trying to develop their creation. You don't need to spend your time consuming somebody else's creation.
But that's where you get your creativity from in a lot of ways.
Exactly, but we don't need that. If everyone doesn't have the hardship of having their mundane lives and existence, everyone can just focus on their own creation. You're stuck in your own fucking creative bubble. You don't need to widen your viewpoint to consume somebody else's part. So, and we have AI bringing in this perfection of analyzing everything that's been done before. There's no real need for it.
No, but that's where I'm going to disagree, because things like what we do, for example, and the idea to have conversations back and forth and to be a voyeur into people's minds and seeing it play out in real time, people will always gravitate and be attached to that. And from there, people will spin off and be their own creative. People will always want human interaction. Yes,
I agree with that.
We are a pack animal. We're a pack animal.
In 2023, who the fuck will know what 2053 is going to be like?
Well, I won't be around 2053. How about you?
I think that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, no, we need to do more math.
I really opened the can of worms here, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did, Jeff. So I'm assuming that the long story short is you're putting AI in.
What have you gone and done now, Jeff?
I am putting AI on watch. And yes, it's going in the bin. I think AI could be a good thing, but could also be a tool that could fucking destroy things.
AI can go in the bin for holding up season 6 of Cobra Kai and season 5 of Stranger Things.
I'll get behind that. I agree.
Okay. Now, for two reasons: one, I love Stranger Things, and two, my daughter loves Stranger Things. So in the bin. And I love Cobra Kai, and my daughter's getting into Cobra Kai. So when you fuck with me, that's one thing. But you fuck with my kids, shit, that's a whole other level.
Yeah, because Dave, you're desperately intimidating right about now.
I'll fuck you up, man.
The Dave Mafia.
Says the guy who's fighting the urge to fall out of his chair. Bill, did you have anything you wanted to add here? You can put all of us in the bin. Like, it's okay.
No, probably just Dave.
Dave, you're in the bin.
Well done.
I deserve it. I know works.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. I don't know. I've been trying to think of what's pissed me off lately.
Your cough?
A lot, but yeah, besides my cough, I think people being overly woke to the point that common sense doesn't prevail. Specifically, my son started high school this year, and one of his friends from primary school went to a different school, but they're all in contact because they all have phones and Snapchat and all that. So they've been communicating, and at his friend's school, they're a bit more liberal and they allow the furries. So you know what furries are? Kids that dress up in cat outfits and dog outfits and they get around in costumes.
That's a fetish as well. That's a fetish for people.
They let high school kids do this.
My Dave said no, he wasn't joining my game. He wasn't going to join.
Man, they let high school kids go in.
High school's changed for my day, man.
So my son's school is he's at a Catholic school, so there's so this is very interesting for my son to hear about.
Nice.
I went to a Catholic school. I know what it's all about.
There's no nuns.
They used to be. They used to be. My sister married a nun. Sister Mary Joan. She was a fucking. I'll tell you what. You did not fuck with her.
Okay, now who's opening a can of worms? Jesus.
All right. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So, Bill.
So my point was, at this school, these fairies are allowed. They're kind of like this kid being a fairy bit another kid, and so this other kid punched the fairy kid, rightly so, And the kid that did the punching got in trouble.
That's stupid. That's stupid. What the fuck?
Hence, common sense does not prevail.
Common sense.
With this, the way society is going in that regard.
I mean, seriously, if an actual dog bit a person, there'd be calls to put the dog down.
There's like a million questions,
which
there,
I think
like
is silly. I
don't agree with dogs being destroyed personally.
I don't either. Like, if someone's swimming and a shark bites them or hurts them or whatever, you don't fucking kill the shark. You went in its fucking area. You know, that's you.
Hang on a minute here.
Yeah, but they do.
As a someone who used to surf an awful lot, right? I used to surf every day for 6 hours a day, every day for many, many years. And I fucking hate sharks.
I know. Who owns the ocean? It's their fucking habitat, and we're going there.
It's their backyard, and I'm in their backyard.
That's right.
And if a shark comes and takes my fucking leg off, it's my own fault.
Yeah.
Well, this is I think that's the way I think. I've always.
It didn't come into your house.
It's sad. But yeah,
it's tough.
Do I want to see a witch hunt where they all rally together and go out and hunt down the shark? No,
I think that's just terrible. I can't hate
awful.
that.
But turned about. Yeah, but back to Bell's point. Yeah, I think the idea of someone biting someone else and then someone getting in trouble for retaliating, understandably so, is a bit fucking nonsensical to me. I think that's a bit.
Believe it. Yeah. Couldn't believe it.
No, that's just sad. That's just
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is Dave on the floor? Or is he getting a refill? Where the fuck? What's happened?
He didn't fall. He just disappeared.
Just disappeared. I'm
pretty sure he's going to get. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a top up. Not that he needs it.
No, he doesn't. He needs to lower the percentage on that. I'll tell you, whatever.
You don't need to encourage him.
No, I'm not. My bin is very mundane by comparison to the rest of these bins tonight. It's basically, long story short, arthritis. Now, I smashed my thumb many years ago in a machine and broke it in a number of places. It's fucked. It doesn't work properly. But now that the weather is setting into the colder part of the year and it's turning into winter and all sort of stuff, now it's kind of like, fuck, it's in my dominant hand, which is even better. So getting to use your hand, like to do anything at all, which is kind of required, especially in your dominant hand, it's like, this sucks. So just the idea of just the aches and pains and just, even though it's manageable and all those things, it's not the end of the world. It's just a small petty gripe that it's just, whenever it comes into winter now, it's just getting painful to use things you need to do every day. Having opposable thumbs is kind of what makes us important and sets us apart. And when you can't do that properly, it kind of fucks your shit up. So that's my bin. So there we go. Arthritis.
There you go. Well, I hope your thumb feels better.
It'll get there when it's a bit warmer. So in a few months. But that'll do us. Let's go through some final comments here, whatever there's worth. Bash has gone and given us a laugh, which is good. Guy says Eddie Murphy had to eat Slinkies as a kid. So from Delirious, yes, that's true.
Such a good show.
Twinkies.
No, it's a fire.
Oh, no.
Vinny says even inanimate objects aren't spared Dave's wrath. So there we go. And Nicole's going, make it stop. Sorry, that was a while ago. We're still here. Vinny says my bin is fucking avocados. You turn away for a moment and they've suddenly gone brown. Save your money and stick with butter.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's true.
Vinny says, little do we know, Dave is currently writing his own concept album with which he's starring in his own thing with his thoughts. Yeah, there we go. So there we go.
If I had the fucking talent and the time, I would.
Yeah.
No. I fucking suck, man. If I could, I would. Fucking.
Darren says it's all right, Dave. You'll be right. Good to You'll be right. Good to see you, Bell. So there we go from Darren. Nicole says bring on the court cases in regards to AI. Darren says I'm out. See ya.
Coming.
Nicole says see you, Darren. Michael says Jack Black and Kyle Gass should lead the army of live musicians in the battle against AI music. There we go.
How good is their new song, man? Video games.
It's
Kyle gets shot in the dick. It's
Dave, of course, you gravitate to that. Vinny says you could copyright your likeness, may put the brakes on AI creating exact replicas. Sportsmen currently do it. Yes, you can, and besides which, there are caveat laws in place about your own image as well. So that's it.
The guy at work that I work with, he typed in the AR. Tell me about Dave from the Hard Rock Show, and it was half right, but he confused me with Hugo from Triple M.
Oh my god!
Oh,
and
wow.
Higo, Dave.
Higo. Hey, Higo. The question about AI though is does the record label do they own the sound of that person's voice? Let's say they want to do Drake, right? And there's actually a Drake
mechanical rights, but not
they own the music, but they don't own the sound, right? So there's a Drake
the contract that was written 20 years ago.
Well, the thing is, though, that you'd have copyright laws in place when it comes to determining likenesses. So when it comes to determining images and that sort of stuff, probably fall under that law.
Lawyers are going to be fighting over right now.
Yeah, and there'll be test cases soon enough.
Yeah. So if a comedian gets up in front of a crowd and does an impersonation of someone else, can he be sued by that person because he?
No, because satire is protected.
Satire is protected. That's the thing. The lawyers are going to be fighting over whether if a person sounds like, because you get all these, they're all sound like fucking the same anyway. Auto-tune shit. They all sound like robots. Maybe they should all be suing each other. Hey, you sound like me. No, you sound like me.
Wait until you get an AI versus AI lawsuit. That'll be when we get the real fun.
Well, fucking the copyright laws were written 50 years ago, and we didn't have internet back then. You need to update this shit for the modern world.
They do.
They will eventually get there. Someone will make a big enough fuss. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can't do it.
Guy says Dave in the bins.
Nicole says, you want to get thrown the fucking bin.
Nicole says, thankfully, this flu thing I've had has made me deafer than normal. With regard to the stream tonight. Thank you. Guy says, wokeism in the bin here. There we go. Nicole says, that's a hate crime against fairies, Bell. So there we go. And Vinny says, are these furry kids de-sexed, Bell? Well, maybe not, because he'd be less aggressive if he had his nuts chopped off. So there we go.
He said it.
Operation.
All right. Is there anything else that's actually relevant? Because we should get out of here and let people get to sleep, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. It's past
okay, cool. Basher, final comment, says, Captain Hook and Susan Sarandon, such a touch me, oh, proud Jeanette. There you go, Dave. There's some more. Wow. There's some more for you. All righty, let's get out of here. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you for putting up with another one of our nonsensical hours-long streams. Hopefully you've had a great time. We've had a blast with you, and we thank you all for joining us, whether you're tuning in live with us tonight or whether you've been tuning in later on, whenever you have done so. Thank you for spending some time with us. Hopefully we've entertained you, and we thank everyone for joining us, and especially Belle for jumping in for her first live stream as well. It's been an absolute blast having the addition here as well. But we'll see how this one goes. Belle, just so you know, we'll do the rounds when we outro. Hopefully you've seen it, how we do it, so you'll be at the end. We'll go that way. So hopefully we'll get this better than the intro. But until next week, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave. Sober.
I'm Conrad.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Belle.
As always,
Drink up.
And
rock on.
Ring that bell.
It was better than the intro, so that's all right. We'll see you soon, folks. Take it easy.
Ring the bell, Jeff.
Beef.